Present here on this digital platform. In this morning Aurora, rolling out the welcome mat, we extend a warm welcome to the NAC-sponsored 2 days national level online seminar on challenges and remedies in online education in rural India, organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college. We are on the second day of the program. As we all know, a black swan event, the COVID pandemic, has gripped the whole world. COVID-19 indeed creates a paradigm shift in India's educational system. It has made digital learning an integral part of the education landscape. I'm privileged to quote Mahakavi Bharatiyar in this context. நாடு முற்றிலும் பள்ளி நகர்களெங்கும் பல பள்ளி தேடு கல்வி இல்லாத ஒரு ஊரை தீயினுக்கு இரையாக மடுத்தல் திறமை கொண்ட தீமையற்ற தொழில் புரிந்து யாவரும் சேர்ந்த கல்வி ஞானம் எய்தி வாழ்வம் இந்த நாட்டிலே. We are 1 century ahead of Bharatiyar, but still there is inequality in the right of education, especially during this pandemic. Calamity, whether natural or man-made, the most affected is underprivileged rural area. Yes, it is a sensational question whether the underprivileged rural community could afford digital literacy. So, the mission of this online seminar is to unravel this question and nurture professional expertise and awareness in the vistas of digital learning and teaching. With this overview, moving right along, it's my honor to greet our eminent chief guest, Dr. R. Harish, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Christ University, Deemed University, Bangalore. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. We cherish your virtual presence. Without much ado, let me invite our faculty, Dr. C.R. Kumaran, Head, Department of Physics, to bid you all a genial welcome and to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, madam. Good morning to all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the second day of the 2-day NAC-sponsored national level online seminar organized by IQAC of our college. I welcome our beloved principal, Dr. S. Krishnamurthy sir, Vice Principals, Dr. P.K. Balamurugan sir, and Ms. R. Muthulakshmi madam. IQAC coordinator Mrs. L. Priya, organizing committee members, HODs of various departments, participant faculty members, research scholars, and students from our college and the other colleges. I extend my warm welcome to today's chief guest, Mr. R. Harish, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Christ University, Deemed to be University, Bangalore. I am very happy to introduce our chief guest. Mr. R. Harish holds a master's degree in Commerce and a PhD diploma in Computer Application from Central University of Pondicherry. Before moving into teaching and research, he has worked in MNCs like Tata Consultancy Services Chennai and Outsource Partners International Bangalore. From the year 2015, he is associated with Christ Deemed to University, Bangalore, and is pursuing his PhD at Christ in the area of adoption of digital financial services. He has been part of the department placements coordinating team, and currently he is coordinating placements at university level. He has also worked in social outreach project of the department, Snega Grant, and taught NIOS syllabus to students and guided them in career planning and development. He has participated in various national, international conferences and published papers in reputed journals. He is always interested to keep himself updated with the latest technology in teaching and research. With this brief introduction, I once again welcome our chief guest, Mr. R. Harish. I would like to thank the principal and organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I request our chief guest of honor, Dr. R. Harish, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Christ University, Bangalore, to address the gathering. Now it's over to you, sir. The floor is yours.
Yes, ma'am. So I hope my slides and I'm audible and I'm visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So firstly, I would like to thank the management of Sri Kaleshwari College Autonomous, Sivakasi, for giving me this opportunity, and also the management members and the IQAC of the college for giving me this opportunity to share my insights in this two-day national level seminar or sponsored by NAC. So the theme is basically what happened during this pandemic, or it could be like the challenges that has been brought in due to this pandemic, or it can be anything when it comes to online education, especially in rural India. See, look at country like India. We are a country which is very diverse, very vast. Okay, in terms of the area and in terms of population. And as we all know, like I don't want to get into the economics part of it. We know like the major chunk of the population comes from rural area, and we have various sectors contributing, be it agriculture or be it service sector or be it industrial sector, and we have kind of skilled manpower coming into all these sectors. And as rightly said by the speakers earlier, like this pandemic, the Black Swan event, as rightly quoted by Nasim Talib, so it's kind of a Black Swan event which happened very out of blue, nowhere it has happened, and it has created a big disruption. And looking at India, when it comes to education, we have been hearing this word called gross enrollment ratio. So gross enrollment ratio, right now it's, if I'm not wrong, it's around 23%, and the government has a plan of making it 50% by 2030 or maybe 2050. Okay, but it's as per 2030. And also the government has rolled out a lot of measures when it comes to national education policy. But the topic that is given to me is what are the challenges faced by rural India in online education. So as we are all aware, like when you talk about online education, it comes in different forms. So during my childhood days, I would have seen the DD national channels or DD channels where there were programs telecast. Or today, if you look at the change in technology, change in the kind of society we are in, we can see smartphones, we can see iPads, we can see digital devices. Okay, a lot of change that has happened, and I can see not just in urban area but also in rural area, people using such smartphones. Even kids at a very small age group are using smartphones. They know how to access, how to play what they need, be it in YouTube or be it in any platform they want. But let me just present you with some stats before I start my session. So let me just move to the next slide. So you can see some stats which I found, especially during this pandemic. So though my focus is not just pandemic, but this pandemic has brought in a huge disruption. Okay, whatever we were not able to do, whatever the government was planning, whatever they wanted to implement, this pandemic was a blessing in disguise, I would say, that has made it possible to some extent. I wouldn't say it 100% bridge the gap. I wouldn't say 100% it bridged the gap, but to some extent it has brought in a kind of change or a kind of transformation in the education system, which would have not been otherwise possible. See, online education is there even before pandemic was there. Even when technology started growing, we had some of the interactions happening through devices, telephone, or be it mobile phones, or be it through recorded videos. Okay, but it was not such a big transformation that happened during this last 2 years, and still it is happening. So look at this. This was the data which I found in the Hindu article, which says only 8% of children in rural areas studied online regularly in the month of August. Okay, this report got published in September. So only 8% of children in rural areas studied online regularly. And also you can see literacy rate in urban India, which says it's 85%. Literacy rate in rural India is 69%. And the state with highest literacy, we all know it's Kerala. So I took this data from statistica.com. So there were a lot of interesting articles which I was coming through in the last 2 years. And one such interesting article was the usage of mobile phones, the usage of smartphones. Okay, this article said the number of people using mobile phones in rural India has increased, and it will still increase in the coming years. And this number will be higher than what is the number that we see in urban area. But we'll be touching upon what are the various challenges. See, technology is there, technology is accessible everywhere, but there are certain problems. So talking about our education system, we have different levels of education system, starting from your kindergarten, your primary level, your secondary level, your higher secondary level, your degree colleges, okay, or you call it, you have your undergraduate colleges, postgraduate research institutions, we have universities. So the size of education system, the number of institutions, okay, that is also growing. On the other side, we are also seeing a lot of challenges, okay, when it comes to scaling the number of students, okay, across the number of seats available, the number of applications coming in. But if you look at this online education, it helps you in scaling, but with some challenges. So you can record a video or you can live stream a video, a lot of people can watch, scaling is possible, but it comes with its own challenges. Okay, so let me just move to the next slide. I just wanted to say, not just one sector was affected, almost all the sectors, you name it, was either positively affected or negatively. Completely, it was thrown out of gear during this pandemic. And especially, we found a lot of reports from UNICEF, the World Economic Forum, or be it World Bank. So, a lot of reports said, and globally, this was one of the biggest, I would say, a disruption that brought schools, that were making schools closed, colleges closed, a lot of educational institutions closed, and most of the students were taken back to their homes. See, when you look at our educational system, it's a teacher-centered education system where we have a kind of classroom setup, or if you go into traditional Gurukulam system or rural areas, it happens under a tree or a common area where there will be a blackboard with the teacher sharing of knowledge, and the students will be listening to it, and in different forms they'll be taking down the notes or writing down the content. But because of this online education, we can see a lot of transformation. Everybody, whether you liked it or not, you had to in some form or the other make use of technology. So teachers had to learn new skills, new technologies, new platforms. Institutions had to subscribe, or they had to buy certain softwares or subscribe to certain online platforms or meeting platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, or be it Microsoft Teams, or be it WebEx. And students, they had to learn how to make use of these platforms, and how to learn content. And we know it's very challenging, right? When it comes to there are certain subjects where it's just a dialogue or a kind of sharing of information. Okay, that is very easy. But when it comes to certain subjects like arithmetics, when it comes to say lab oriented, or when you have some practical based paper, it needs a kind of an experimentation setup, and it was very challenging when it comes to such kind of subjects being taught. And to some extent, I would say the topic that I have to basically focus on is challenges. To some extent, it brought in a lot of creativity at the end of the teacher, but they had a lot of challenges. The time that was given, see, not everybody were prepared to face this situation, not everybody were trained, but we were all having some kind of knowledge. But when it comes to rural area, finding a device, the number of computers or the number of devices, getting an infrastructure facility, then getting trained, knowing the latest development, understanding the kind of students psychology or their cognitive ability. See, a lot of challenges. I know, being a teacher, I also faced a lot of challenges. So when 2020 March came, when I had to go back to my hometown, which is a rural area in Kadalur district, so I had to use 3 to 4 SIM cards. Okay, I had to change between the SIM cards, and each time network signal was different in each SIM card. I had to use it for various purposes. And only after 2 months, I had to rectify my broadband. Okay, when it comes to infrastructure connectivity in rural area, we can see a lot of differences. Okay, so research suggests that online learning has shown kind of tremendous growth, but it has its own limitations. When it comes to students, even in classrooms, we would have noticed their focus, their attention levels. Their attention levels are very, very minimal. Some research say it's 9 seconds, some research say it's 15 minutes, but each one is different. And what subject, it all depends on various dimensions or various inputs, I would say. Not just the teacher, it also depends on their day, their environment, their mindset, and their friends in the class, how they are behaving. A lot of external factors are also there that contributes to their motivation to listen to a class. Okay, so it has brought in a lot of disruptions, both good and bad. So let me just quickly run to my topic. I said not just one sector, every sector was disrupted and disadvantaged, being disproportionately affected by this pandemic. So this is one more report which I took from UNESCO and UNICEF, both combinedly published this report. and especially children's were mostly affected, and they had to undergo a lot of both mental, physical, as well as a lot of stress, I would say. So when you talk about challenges faced in India, especially in rural India, we know, like as I said, rural India has its own challenges. Starting from the density of population, the facilities available, the infrastructure that is there, the communication networks that are there, okay, the transportation system that is there. See, we might have seen during this pandemic, students sitting at the top of a roof, or they are finding high grounds where they can get better internet connectivity, or we can also see teachers coming with innovative methods when it comes to online learning. So everybody has undergone a lot of tough time, a lot of challenges. But as we all know, it is during the challenges we come with a lot of creativity, and that provides us with a lot of opportunities. So in my presentation, I'm going to just focus on two big major stakeholders. You can also think about including the institutions, you can include the government. So different stakeholders. Due to paucity of time, I'm just going to focus on two major members here. So though I come from teaching community, I also look at student interaction in terms of placements. It was very challenging when it comes to doing certain non-routine things online. So conducting interviews, or be it conducting assessments. Okay, teaching on one side is different, assessment, conducting an assessment is different, and we can see a lot of change in the way assessments are happening. And also when it comes to teaching, I think there are certain institutions, not just in urban area, even in rural area, they thought of giving breaks. So continuously teaching for 8 hours, or continuously teaching for 4 hours, or a half a day session, it was very challenging. So they had come up with some kind of strategies. Even we as an institution had tough time continuously teaching. We know, right, because of the pandemic, a lot of side effects, the letharginess, or the kind of tiredness. So we had a lot of side effects, and it was even tough task asking students to stay back and listen for such a longer session. So we changed the way how classes used to happen. We had brought in something like blended learning. Each approach has its own challenges, right? So teaching online when students are under our observation and focusing on each one and teaching itself, we find students not paying attention. But think of when it comes to online, students are all seated at their home, at their comfort zone. They don't even turn on their video, they don't even turn on their audio, or they'll be just keeping the screen on, they'll be doing some work else, or they'll be moving around, too many distractions. So it is very tough for teachers. And also the biggest challenge that every teacher would have faced is using technology. See, there is a big difference between having technology, accessing it. Okay, when it comes to technology, especially digital literacy, we are talking about literacy in general, and we can see in rural area the literacy levels are very low when compared to urban areas. But I would say that would slightly transform, because a lot of urban crowd has now moved into rural area, back to their grassroots, and they have started coming with a lot of innovative aspects, or their livelihood has changed completely. So when you look at the biggest challenge every teacher had is, how do I move from physical classroom into online classroom? So especially like it's like I'm talking alone. So sometimes even when I do an online session, I feel like I'm talking to myself. So that is one mindset, right? The very first question we ask whenever we get into a classroom is, am I audible, am I visible? And also, even if I am prepared mentally and physically, the network which I'm using should be stable. And we are, as we all know, there are countries which are talking about 5G, 6G, and we are still in the world of 4G in India. Maybe they'll be rolling out 5G networks. Look at the speeds, the internet speeds. This is a problem both for teachers and students. So if you look at teachers, uh, as I said, the very first point, do we have the capacity? Do we have the resources to learn? Okay, we can say like go to Google and find out all the content. But see, we have a lot of tools, both paid version as well as open source or open access content is available. So first thing is we should make up a positive mindset. The biggest challenge every faculty has is it takes time for us to come out of our comfort zone. Technology changes rapidly, but it takes time for our mindset to slowly change and adjust to the changing environment. That is one thing. So low capacity in digital and e-learning skills, that is one big challenge. because still we are following the very traditional or the customary way of teaching. And today we have a lot of platforms that have come in where the mode of delivery of lectures, blended learning, we have synchronous, asynchronous. See, the awareness among teachers, especially when it comes to rural area, first is awareness is not much, then accessibility to these resources is not there. And also we need the government support. See, we cannot just like that. We sometimes are put in the rigid environment where the government says what you should do. The government lays down the policies, the government lays down the methods. It gives you like how you should teach, and they should be equipped. Okay, so look at the gap between the change in technology and the change in regulation or the policy framework. That's a big change. Technology changes exponentially, regulatory or the policy measures come slightly behind it. And also, I would say maybe to some extent, this government's idea of digital India or say bringing in a lot of changes in education system has to some extent helped faculties. We have a lot of platforms for faculties also to develop their skills that is needed to adjust ourselves to the changing environment. Next is poor systemic support from government. As I said, the government need to spend a lot of money when it comes to government in rural area. We can see a lot of educational institutions mostly run by government entities, and also we can see private institutions taking a major step to enhance the quality of education there in rural areas. And a lot of support is needed from government when it comes to making the regulatory or the policy slightly approachable for rural areas. See, I cannot have a one stick approach or a one scale approach for all the institutions across India. That doesn't actually work. See, even in NAC, we have a parameter which says student computer ratio. Okay, teacher to student ratio. So there are certain things when you look at rural area, the strengths will be more, or when you go to urban area, there are a lot of challenges when it comes to the policy measures. Not familiar with technology, as I said, not every member is decide to do so. So if you ask me, I prefer teaching offline. The interaction, face-to-face interaction is what I like. And most of the technology, right, by the time we learn, by the time we implement, it gets changed. And each platform is unique. Okay, the sharing options or the interface in itself is different when it comes to Zoom, Google, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, or be it anything. Inability to reach all students, though we feel we can scale up to larger extent, we can also reach out to the larger crowd. We still have a lot of issues. As I said, my preference is teaching in person. So quickly, I'll come to challenges faced by students. As we all know, in rural areas, the biggest challenge is it starts from the very basic financial problem. Okay, when you talk about these technological resources, the devices, the computers or the laptops, the prices are exorbitant. It's very high. The financial situation of members, their family members, how many members are there in the family? If everybody needs a device, that is very difficult. So financial problem. Then also when I interacted with few students during this lockdown, there were many who had this tendency to drop out. Okay, this is not just in online, even in offline, many dropped out and they took a break here. That is a really alarming fact. And we can also see the retention capacity. The retention capacity of students. We feel like online education, you can record it and keep watching it anytime. The retention capacity and also maybe this pandemic side effects, we don't know what kind of side effects it has in the coming days. We don't know. The next thing is lack of motivation. Okay, when we see in the physical classroom, the energy levels of the faculties get transformed to students, or by looking at students' energy level, the faculty's energy levels goes up. But sometimes when we see in online education system, a kind of lethargy or lack of motivation, that is one. Lack of guidance. Okay, we feel like internet is there, everything is available, but proper guidance. What should I do to move from primary when I go to my higher secondary or to my degree? What kind of courses I should take? So that lack of guidance, okay, that is there. And biggest problem is power disruptions. When you talk about not just rural India, even in urban India, the same problem, power disruptions. The continuity in power supply is one big drawback that everybody faces. So power disruption has completely, like you can see power shutdowns for the entire day or 4 hours. The very time gets wasted. Okay, and the data cost, when it comes to speed and data cost, the speed of internet is very slow in rural areas, though the government is working on it. And the cost of internet. So today we can see the price of 1 GB data, how much it's going up, like 200, 250, and each service provider is charging different rates. So speed, cost of internet, it's very, very high, and there's a big difference in the speeds, and the connectivity issues are also different. Then lack of technological devices and technical issues. See, not all the new devices that are available in the market are readily available in rural area. Though we have e-commerce, though we have supply chain system in proper place, but still the time by which it reaches rural area, it's very late. Okay, and not everybody has the capacity to afford investing in such technology, which keeps changing every now and then. And also we face a lot of technical issues. Sometimes while we are using even a very branded device, we face a lot of technical issues in terms of software, in terms of its own hardware failures. So all those things also adds up to the existing challenges in online education. Then usually what students expect is they need to have kind of interaction. It can be with teachers, it can be with their own peer students, or it can be with counselors, or it can be with somebody whom they can feel to share. But in an online education, even those facilities are available, but that face-to-face or the physical interaction, we all know human beings are a social animal, and they need that kind of interaction and the kind of support and the kind of belongingness that is needed. That is one which everybody needs. In online education, we usually don't see it. And today the globe is moving into the concept of metaverse, multiverse, and all those. So lack of guidance, as I said, lack of guidance. As we all see, sometimes we'll have some good tutors or teachers, or say even principals, looking at students and telling them what to do, what not to do. That guidance is not much when it comes to online education. Or even if it is there, students may not be aware, though there are a lot of platforms, a lot of institutions or entities specially focusing on career counseling, and the awareness may not be there. Moving on to the next problem, not just the teachers, even students have the issue of digital literacy. Okay, so digital literacy, we might have heard about literacy, we might have heard about financial literacy. Digital literacy, how do you use a technology? How do you access technology? Even if there is an issue, how do you handle it? So digital literacy is a big challenge. And today, not just the researchers, even the government is talking about the word digital divide. Okay, so as I said, these points I'm just quickly skipping. Feeling detachment, sometimes we have that. Course structure and quality of content delivered. So this is something which students also expect. They want everything to be in a kind of crisp modular approach. They don't want very lengthy lectures. They want it to be like 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes capsule forms. That is one thing they look at. That is one big challenge when it comes to how do we deliver content in online platforms. And problems related to accreditation. See, there are certain other side of the spectrum where we can see online degrees, online courses, online certifications being offered, but we need to see their authenticity. Is it really accredited, valid for us to take up? Then quickly moving on, uneven opportunities, even within rural area, you can see a big gap between people who have access to resources and who don't have access to resources. So this is what I said, like I'll be just going to the next slide, which talks about digital divide, the gap that this pandemic, not just this pandemic, the kind of disruption it has created a huge gap between rich and poor, people with access to technology, between men and women, boys and girls. So it has created a big gap, I would say. And there is also a problem related to mental and physical well-being. Okay, this is something which even the government in the recent budget was talking about, how to improve mental and physical well-being of students, teachers, an unconducive atmosphere at home. So we know, right, online education, it always happens from a place like mostly in your home. And when you have a lot of disturbances, distractions, and family related issues and quarrels, it becomes very distracting for students to focus on their classes, regular classes. Then this is one important point which I wanted to emphasize when you talk about technology. One is digital literacy and one is digital divide. Okay, I'm not talking about the other aspects. Maybe even when we do a lot of research, you come across privacy, then you come across some kind of push from the government, because some of these technology are very expensive even for a private institution to afford. So there needs to be a kind of support coming from the government. So talking about digital divide, as I said, the gap that this pandemic, not just this pandemic, even before that there was a gap, but this pandemic has made this gap even more bigger. So lack of access to TVs or smartphones. Okay, though you can see such devices available, your power interruptions are there. Increased peer pressure. So we look at our fellow peers, our student friends, and see like what they are doing. We also try to replicate, or we also try to force doing that. But really those devices may not be needed by us. Disparity in learning, this is what I said. Today online education, I think today also I read an article where the CA topper was talking about how this pandemic helped her to become the topper when it comes to CA. Not just CA, be it competitive exams. A lot of competitive exams are also being taken by students. And again, awareness and interest should be there. An unfair competitive advantage, as I said, rural versus urban in terms of speed, in terms of accessibility, in terms of resource availability, there is an unfair competitive advantage. Decreased productivity among the poor. See, the amount of screen time, not just the teachers, even students, the amount of screen time we spend, it has a lot of other psychological and physical, I would say, issues. Okay, so that is one big challenge. And you can also specifically focus. So being a country where we have a lot of divisions, okay, within the community, there are people who don't even have access. Even you look at tribal areas, even you look at backward areas, there are some people who don't even have access to certain basic resources. Then talking about online education, we can see the challenges they face. Only 4% of rural SC/ST children were studying online compared to 15% in other rural children. 83% of SC/ST parents felt like their child's ability to read has declined. This is not just with them, but almost many felt the retention capacity and their reading capabilities, arithmetic capabilities has come down. 43% of SC/ST students are not able to study at all. Okay, so there are different learning approaches. That is one big challenge. Some will like kind of say kinesthetic, audio, visual. So there are different learning styles. Each one likes a different learning style. But I would say in an online education, all the learning styles may not be, maybe I would say faculty thinks or actively keeps in mind when delivering a lecture. SC/ST children were also pushed to help in fields. So this is one thing, right? When we see all the children in rural area, they also need to support to their families growth, and they had to work along with their family members. I think we also saw within Tamil Nadu, like in Ooty, how they were involved in plantation or construction. So various areas they had to support their family members. They also faced a lot of challenges. And finally, this is a survey. I'm not just going to go through it, but quickly you can see the shift or the gap between rural and urban. So this is a research which was done in a school in Karnataka. You can see like online classes, 25% regularly attend and 16% sometimes attended in urban. In rural area, the percentage is very minimal. It's 8%. This matches with the same report which Hindu has given. You can see the source, Hindu. And also you can see, I'll quickly wrap up, though my session doesn't talk about the kind of remedies or the kind of advantages, but still there is a light at the end of the tunnel, as we all know. So we see the government, even in the recent budget, 2022 budget, the government was talking about digital university. The government was talking about increasing independent channels that will cater to the needs of different vernacular languages, different subjects. And also every state government, we all know education is part of state government, but it's still debatable, like the central government taking over in certain places. So education falls under the state government list, and the government needs to do a lot of in terms of without delaying appointments of teachers, establishing a lot of educational institutions, ensuring students join. And I see during this pandemic, there's a huge shift in rural areas. Many moved from institutions to government institutions. Okay, there was a big shift. I think everybody agrees with it when it comes to schools, especially. Innovative solutions needs to be provided in online education. It should be more interactive. Okay, though here I am talking one way, we need to have more interactive way of conversations. They should be equipped with essential infrastructure, more internet connectivity, establishment of more common libraries with technological interfaces. Okay, and also they should be provided with digital learning kits and energy, power supply, uninterrupted power supply through solar installations. And you can see some of the initiatives which the government has taken. We have a lot of, as I said, open source for softwares and open access resources. We have MOOCs, we have SWAYAM, we have a lot of top institutions, both India and globally. They have platforms like we have this National Digital Library, we have this NCERT coming with converting their content into e-form. We have EPG Pathshala. We have the Nishta scheme for elementary level, Nishta 2.0. Diksha is there, digital infrastructure for school education. Then NEP is mainly focusing, or its emphasis is on transforming the classroom-based education into online digital learning, and that is the agenda of NEP. And even as I said, the recent budget also focused on bringing in digital universities and digital DDH channels which can focus on sharing of knowledge. I think I have exceeded my time. So anyway, I would like to thank for giving me this opportunity to share the challenges which I faced or which I saw, especially the student community, the faculty community faced in this pandemic, not just this pandemic, even before that, when it comes to access, as ma'am said in the introductory speech, inequality, the kind of gap we can see between rural and urban, rich and poor. So I think this should be to some extent brought to the notice of regulatory authorities, government, and to all the policy makers as to how this gap can be reduced in the coming years. So thank you so much once again, College Sri Kaleshwari College, for giving me this opportunity, IQAC cell, and to all the members who were here presenting papers on various themes. I would like to also congratulate the institution for taking up such an initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful deliberation with minute statistical analysis. Your lecture gave us an insightful on digital learning, on digital learning to deal with the digital divide and disparity. We teachers have to be capable enough to cope with the tech-enabled pedagogy. It's not about ideas, it's about making ideas. That starts the problem. We cannot change the direction of the wind, but we can change the direction of our sail to reach the right destination. So your lecture gave us much insightful thoughts. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now it's time for presentation. So dear presenters, your much awaiting presentation session is going to start. The common announcement for presenters, you'll be given 8 minutes for your presentation. You're supposed to present your paper for 6 minutes, the first 6 minutes, and the next 2 minutes, there will be Q&A session. So plan your presentation accordingly. Martin Luther King once said, to go forward, we must look back. Yes, as professional teachers, we must look back at the problems that hindered our online teaching learning process. Sharing is a sort of caring. We welcome you all to share your views, experience, strategies to resolve the challenges of digital literacy. One candle can wipe out darkness. So each and every one of you, the presenters, you can emulate our today's session by sharing your valuable viewpoints. The first presenter is
Ms. S. Suganya, student from DHNS College, Virudhunagar, to present her topic on digital education barriers in rural India.
Now the floor is yours, ma'am. You can start your presentation.
Hi guys, my voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning to everyone present here. I'm Shuganya. My co-author name is Gajendran. We are studying MBA first year in VHSN College, Virudhunagar. Okay, I will start my presentation. I also live in the rural area and also poor family. So I take it the topic is digital education barriers in rural India. Now all are know as the digital education, some that the problems. My global separate the COVID-19 pandemic has the effect also. The value that it goes in the areas the public are responsible. So now government to the give the responsibilities. So the policy of new educational national education say that so that technology improvement, and also suddenly traditional education changed to online mode instructions. Alternative points of the divisional changes education systems way of the effective and the determination. So now I started the topic as well as during the lockdown period, all question promotion and explanations, school of the I like us the Odisha. So poor village, poor and rural, poor the rural families that suspends the students to promote higher classes based teamwork. The new section also started the April 2020. The effect of the COVID-19. The school mass education department of the government, the Odisha adapted to the online and mode. Instruction become the preference the rural students of they are happy to fill with conventional classroom. The classroom setup was now I can the presentations and now meeting also the going on online classes, online meeting. So all are now the technology improvement, but the barriers, the what is the problem also took the poor rural areas, some family members poor money, that also I will some of the pointers. The even the rural parts of the India, COVID-19 is a digital learning too, I will say. Uh, some of the members that take it of the group of the class in the Zoom meeting, Google, WhatsApp, Telegram, etc., etc. The main of the hurdles of the 5 points: access of digital education device, the data, lack of digital literacy, and also absence of the skills, language barriers, language to more of the poor people's connections, and also digital literacy in the infant was supported. The major of education in the rural India part of barriers, 20% have the asset disturbs. The major chunks, the rural population, the country of need, internet band of the accurate knowledge, equipment on the digitals. So, they are the barriers overcoming the barriers to the digital areas. The current situations were the survey of the topics in the economical learning platform, the plantation digital learnings. They are the learning science of the planted more in the approaches this. The process of beginners. What the beginners by the internet, if the online education are interneted. So the innovation solutions. There are rural areas, Indians can be the resort, the required information, provide the public private schemes. The objectives now the objectives, what of the in study of illustration, experience of school teachers, students and parents adopting the online instruction during the COVID-19 lockdown. The study intends to understand challenges faced by the teacher, student, and also parents adapt to the online teaching. The process of connections, what is the contentions of the rural some schools that due COVID-19. The lack of attentions and also language problem is the must barriers of the digital education. What is the language barriers? The literacy, absence of the skills, and also take it that it teaches Indian led to a proposed skill to offer digital platforms become another major the factor influencing the programations instead of training to as the digital platform awareness of the requirement the education techniques. So that the language barriers availability of regulating content. So now I will talk Hindi the language also more unfriendly in India. So 85% population living the India does not speak in English. Standardly, the digital all nation connected over the prime models from the 12 higher study in the level of in for the teach. Organization of standard connected from open source will need a secondary affected government. Okay. Next availability of internet. Now what I'm come to the not 5G internet. So availability of internet literacy in the primary conjunction in the men and rural India similar to the most domains. The presentations it's a digital education's various amongst the rural from other for demanding.
Ma'am,
The overcoming demand.
now excuse me.
Okay.
Could you summarize
Oh.
the presentation?
Yes, ma'am. I will summarize the presentation.
Yes, ma'am, please summarize your findings within 2 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Ma'am, my voice all audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You could summarize your viewpoints and findings within 1 minute. One or
Oh,
could you, ma'am?
ma'am,
Yes,
I
you're
will
on.
summarize the.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay. Yeah, my article is the 5 points only. The reference is digital educations, adopting the rural India's and challenges of the education in rural remote areas, international advance, research channel in the sciences, engineering and technologies. Okay, ma'am, I put in the point of the current situation will various survey of topics, economic learning platform. That's only, ma'am. Okay, thanks.
Contribution.
Thanks to all. Thanks to all. Once again, I thanks for Kalishwari Short College.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
You have mentioned so many barriers in rural India.
So many barriers. Yes, ma'am, I have the point of
Can you give any most barriers which is faced by the rural people?
lack of digital literacy and the interconnection support, sir, ma'am. Infrastructural support. And after gender equality and gender inequalities of availability of internet sources.
So, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
for your presentation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is
Dr. A. Samima from Holy Cross College. The topic is Challenges of Online Education During the COVID-19 Pandemic Encountered by the Students in Rural Communities.
Samima, ma'am. Now the floor is yours. You can start your presentation.
Okay, ma'am. Good morning. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are both audible.
Okay, ma'am. So, I am Dr. A. Shamima, Assistant Professor in Economics, Holy Cross College, Nagarcoil. So, my topic is Challenges of Online Education During the COVID-19 Pandemic Encountered by Students in Rural Communities. So, education, the global pandemic has taken a big hit on all the sectors of the economy. The lockdown in India has helped to slow down the spread and prepare better to face imminent large scale. Many institutions have resorted to online classes to complete the
Excuse me,
syllabus.
ma'am.
Oh, ma'am.
Please on your video.
Oh, wait, oh, 1 second, ma'am, 1 second. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So rural areas are still grappling with challenges to make education completely digital or online. Students, especially girls, face significant difficulty in managing access to online classes. So coronavirus has created a disruptive situation in India as well as many other countries. So the lockdown in India has helped to slow down the spread and prepare better to face imminent large-scale infection. So here, next one, challenges. So the challenges, here I put 4 challenges. First one, digital literacy and infrastructural support. Teachers and students in villages are becoming more accepting towards digital means of learning, but infrastructural facilities there have not developed fully to become at par with what online learning, steady flow of electricity and lack of high-speed internet pose major problems for the rural population. The next one, limited availability of technological devices. Not a lot of people in rural area, India, have access to personal laptops or computers. So many students either don't have personal laptops or their smartphone, or they are available for a limited data packs, and cost can be big problem both for teachers as well as learners, especially for the students. Then lack of familiarity with digital technology. Teachers and students in rural parts of the world still rely on traditional teaching methods for their less smart classroom, and digital learning have already made a way in urban educational setups but not ready to make the switch yet. Shifting from traditional pedagogical methods to digital one cannot happen overnight. So next one, lack of teacher experience in online teaching. So teachers in rural areas are still not comfortable teaching online. Most students believe that online teaching is different from physical teaching in the classroom. Government needs to provide advanced technology training to teachers to continuously enhance their teaching. The main problem is that teachers are facing in the subject of online teaching. So next one, shortage of teachers the main problem. Teachers' guidance and attention remain indispensable for learners in an online classroom. Shortage of teachers or poor teacher to student ratio in villages pose another challenge. To make complete digitalization of education rural area, a large number of skilled and well-trained teachers they are available. Then adverse environment in home during online learning. There is a big difference between the getting education in school and getting education at home. A school environment is suitable for education only where the surrounding environment with the teaching conducive to learning. At home, there is always activity at home, various courses including housework, etc. So I conclude with the pandemic COVID-19 pandemic situation, a halt on, on the classroom learning session. Online learning has paved a new way to retain normalcy for students and teachers. It is a heartening to see that not only urban educational institutes but the state-run schools in rural areas have also gone digital and resorted to online classes to avoid academic losses. Although not every village and town in India is infrastructurally developed to sustain online education, so it is motivating to see many rural schools and colleges adapting completely to e-learning during these times. Also, many affordable and low bandwidth e-learning solutions are coming up, and with multilingual platform to facilitate easy and convenient online learning classes in rural area or in rural India. In the last few years, we have observed substantial changes in rural India regarding education, infrastructure, and other facilities. So with the continuous support from government and innovation coming up in digital technology, online learning will be made affordable and accessible. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you suggest how to improve these problems? How to overcome the problem? Can you suggest?
Yeah, ma'am, the main problem is the technology and network issues. Then the shortage of teachers. So government put some steps to rectify these problems. Then only the online teaching is effective, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is Ms. B. Kavi Bharati from Bonsekers College for Women, Tanjavur. Her topic is online education, challenges faced by rural communities. Ms. Kavi Bharati?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, ma'am. You can
Ma'am, you
proceed.
can hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am. You can
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I am B. Kavibharati from Bonsakas College for Women, Tanjavur. My topic is challenges faced by rural communities.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share your PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Also, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is it clear, ma'am?
No, ma'am, not yet. You're shared. On your video.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Are you online? Next. Okay, we can move on to the next presenter. Miss G. Devi from Bonsakas Arts and Science College for Women. Her topic is online education, challenges faced by rural communities. Miss Devi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Share your presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is it also audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Special morning to everyone present in this
Ma'am, you
seminar.
are presenting your PPT.
Yes, ma'am.
Please share your screen.
Yes, ma'am. I will share. I'm Devi from Bonsakas College, Manarkudi. My sincere gratitude for this wonderful platform, ma'am. I'm going to present my topic as online education challenges faced by rural communities. Yes. Once again, ma'am, I will present my PPT.
Devi.
Yes, sorry, ma'am. I will present it. I'm going to my topic. At the time of COVID-19, the schools and colleges are
Excuse me, ma'am. Your screen is not
visible.
okay, ma'am. If there is a difficulty to share your screen, you can proceed without PPT.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. My topic is online education challenges faced by rural communities. At the time of COVID-19, the schools and colleges are fully moved to regular classroom to online classroom. The online education is since 1999 exists, the online classes. But at the time of COVID-19, we moved regular classroom to online classroom. At the time of online classroom, online education, so many challenges we faced. The challenges are we discuss here. First, and the challenges faced only for the not only for the students, the trainers, the educator, and also facing lack of previous experience in online education teaching. So the student community from rural areas are experiencing challenges due to the various factors such as no electricity, and then some limited hours of electricity, and then insufficient network, and then digital devices, lack of digital devices. These are the factors dominated by the online education in rural communities. And then some of the key factors: infrastructure availability to conduct the online learning, online learning awareness creation among students, parents, and teachers also. Overcoming these barriers, we can achieve online education is fully. Some of the key factors for e-learning challenges. First one is political and economic, then social, technological, and then pedagogical. First one, political and economical, the digital divide. According to the World Poverty Club, the number of people who are living in India as a poverty line is 97.7 million, or roughly 6% of the population in under the poverty line. And there are few states in India which does not get more than 12 hours of electricity in a single day. So power cut is a major challenge to the online education system. And then the mission Antyodaya, that is the mission. The mission conducted the survey for the village. Ministry of Rural Development in 2017 to 18 showed the 16% of India's household receives 1 to 8 hours of electricity daily. 33% received 9 to 12 hours, and 47% received more than 12 hours per day. This is the major drawback of online education system. And then technical issues, internet speed. Technical issues means at the time of lockdown, all of them sitting in a single window. That means most of the people working from home, and then students are studying in their home. So all of them using the internet. So in the internet speed is reduced. So most of the students playing games. So using mobile phones is the using mobile phones in their home. So the internet speed is reduced. Okay. Then in the rural areas, in rural area, people using only 1 GB or 1.5 GB of data per month. But the data speed is not enough to study in online. So they need broadband connection, but they cannot get broadband connection in their home because they are under the poverty line. Then psychological impact. Most of the parents in India are not IT literature. They don't know how to use the devices, how to control parenting control rules. They don't know. So the students, the parents, they are not ready to give the devices to the students, means their children's, because the children's using mobile phones for unwanted chat, and then YouTube, some other social medias they are visited. So the parents, they don't know how to control the students. This is the psychological impact. They are fear to solve this problem. So next one is pedagogical challenges. There are so many teachers well experienced. They have taking the classes only direct classroom only, blackboard. Using the blackboard is a very easy way. They can teach very clearly. But if you want to move the online classes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you summarize your presentation, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. These are the problems faced for rural communities. that is the power cut, the lack of digital devices, lack of bandwidth, and then economically weaker, infrastructurally not satisfied. These are the drawbacks to online education in rural communities, ma'am. So we can overcome. These are the challenges. We have to better platform for the online education in rural community people, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, you are requested to ask any clarification. You want any clarification? Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you give your opinion how to improve the online education in rural area, ma'am?
Suppose the government gives some ideas or some contribution to the people, they are economically growth. So then only they can satisfy their online education is better way, because they are the economically weaker section, only rural people are located. They overcome the economic level, then we can face the online education is better way, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is Dr. J. Josephine from Jayaraj Annapakyam College for Women, Periyakulam. Her topic is online education, challenges faced by rural communities.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, you are
Is
audible.
my presentation visible for you?
Yes, ma'am, visible, ma'am.
Yes. Good morning, everyone present here. I am Dr. J. Josephine, Assistant Professor of English, JAC. First of all, I thank God, the management of JAC and IQAC of Sri Kaleshwari College for giving me the opportunity to share my perspective online education challenges faced by rural communities. So digital learning has become an integral part India's education landscape as a result of COVID-19. However, the dissemination of digital education has been hampered by huge gap between the haves and the have-nots. In rural India, in particular here, there has been a sudden dependence on e-learning. So according to official statistics, India has more than 35 students of core grade. However, it is not clear how many of those students have access to e-learning. So most colleges and schools have now managed to adapt to the blended mode of learning. So, however, numerous challenges remain. And much of India's population has little or no internet access. So this was the most important factor that hampered the adequate penetration of digital education within the rural population. So confinement imposed over many months also prevented children from getting together in a single place with a better internet connection. So they were left without education for months. So the students attended lectures through electronic devices such as mobiles, laptops, and desktops. So however, adaptation is still not without its challenges. So as teachers and students continue to face a number of challenges in online classes. So teachers work hard to attain technological skills and implement the best instructional pedagogies to enhance the learning experience of students. Online platforms successfully implement all academic activities such as projects, assignments, quizzes, group discussions, case studies, and so on. So these activities help students switch between a passive learner and an active participant and partner in the learning process. But there are challenges in accessing online equipment. So one of the biggest challenges in online learning is the lack of digital infrastructure and connectivity. So educational institutions have also been faced with challenges in mapping their educational activities in a hybrid way. So faculty and students are not financially stable to afford or access their internet for long hours. So a lack of access both economically and logistically also creates challenges, particularly for students in remote areas. So the issue also remains for students from low income groups living in urban areas. So the minimum level of digital literacy is required for both students and faculty to adapt to hybrid teaching and learning techniques. Online electronic education imposes responsibilities on students. So students need to be well organized, self-motivated, and possesses time management skills to benefit from online education. So as a result, e-learning is not recommended for younger students and other students who are dependent learners. So in spite of the challenges, online education has evolved relatively rapidly in recent years. So numerous online platforms, edtech companies have sprung up over this short period of time. So this has made e-learning available to rural and remote areas in India. So thanks to e-learning, more students were able to save on transportation, accommodation, and the overall cost of institutional learning. So blended teaching is a practical both for teachers and students, as it allows them to work on flexible hours. So the benefit of asynchronous online learning is seen when the students are seen attending classes from anywhere in the world. All they need is a proper internet connection and electronic devices on the display. E-learning also opens a door for better interaction, the exchange of ideas, and the collaboration of teachers and students in the most unique way. So e-learning requires the teachers to prepare ahead of time for any technical glitches that may occur during teaching. So in addition, some subjects are practical in nature. Therefore, it is important to recognize these topics, and it should not be taught online, such as public speaking, medicine, sports, like that. In the present scenario, technology is now as an integral part of education, and educational pedagogies change over time, giving way to innovation and learning techniques. However, the success of an online program depends solely on the program of study, the teacher, the technological advancement, and the research spirit of a student. So faculty members, example, faculty members from the Jaipuria Institute of Management, Ghaziabad, are delivering lectures in both synchronous as well as asynchronous mode. So MBA students who are not able to attend regular lectures, conferences, may benefit from recorded lectures and study materials uploaded to the portal. So students also have the opportunity to clear their doubts with a concerned faculty at a convenient time like that. So in some places, girls do not have the right to attend school, or if permitted, it is only till a certain age. So they cannot leave their hometowns for higher education or better jobs. While most of these areas requires a transformative change, which will take time, technology can accelerate it. So I can just post that education disparity is also there. And the thing is that technology teaching is a total package. So it is true that a teacher is the best instructional material, because a teacher is the one who manages the classroom. So as the saying goes, you are the captain of your mind and the master of your soul. So teacher is the captain of the classroom because of molding the minds of the students to become competent and independent individuals when it comes to excellence. So
sorry for interruption, ma'am. Sorry for interruption.
Yes,
could you summarize the points, your findings?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So what my finding is faculty members are using now Google Classroom and presentation the tools like they are using more Prezi, Zoom It, Canva, and everything it is there. So that what I like to summarize is e-learning continues to evolve as the new technologies and digital tools become available. So only time will tell if may not replace the traditional methods of your learning experience, but it's definitely here to stay and has managed to engage students in an innovative way. So thank you all for your patience listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants are asked to raise your questions. Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
could you comment on the future of online education in rural India?
Online education means so providing multimedia teaching tools to teachers and students using of the smart classroom equipment like virtual classroom, digital board, digital teaching system, digital content, a language lab, digital modernized, so can help teachers boost education scenario in rural settings.
So you advocate a blended learning. You mean it, ma'am?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much.
Next, I would like to call Ms. Kavi Bharati to make her presentation on online education challenges faced by rural communities. Ms. Kavi Bharati?
Ms. Kavi Bharati, are you online?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. The floor is yours. You can start your presentation.
Okay, ma'am.
Could you share your PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, is it clear, ma'am?
Ma'am,
No, ma'am.
you are not yet shared, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. If there is a difficulty in sharing, you please switch on the video and you can proceed, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No issue. You please switch on the video, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, ma'am. Good morning to everybody gathered here. I am Kavi Bharati from Bonsegas College for Women. I am studying first MSc Chemistry. I am glad to share my presentation, challenges and remedies in online education. This online education is certainly the online education is caused the disruptions in the finding alternatives to the disruptions caused thus far. Workforce is to work from home while colleges and schools are moving to online. As the country takes to online education, the current pandemic is impacting rural students who lived in cities. Furthermore, purchasing data plans for learning could also incur a lot of expenses for families who face financial constraints. There were no regular classes for them. A lack of teachers, student-teachers interactions, the blackboard method for teaching and learning affected the quality of education given to the students. Doubt clearance is more difficult in this online method. This weak internet is the major part of Indian population has little no more access to the internet. The need for a computer adequate software, constant electricity, the high bandwidth internet is quite a demand for rural communities. Even some rural areas are blessed with good internet connectivity. Not many families can afford digital devices, which are imperative for online classes. Even if they can afford mobile to their children, They can't able to they recharge for every month for the online classes due to the lack of employment in rural areas in the pandemic situations. This lack of financial privilege has forced many parents to take their children out of schools. It is unsure if they will return now the schools have reopened. In this pandemic situation, the rural community children are go to the domestic works to fulfill their basic needs itself. In these online classes, there is a lot of communication issues during online classes. There are some students who feel shy to communicate with their teachers and friends due to the new model of learning. It might happen due to lack of interest, poor technological issues with apps and video calls, are unable to express themselves with the live chats, emails, and text messages. In the government schools, there is a lack of faculty. Many of teachers are lost their jobs during this pandemic. In these online classes, according to the survey, only 15 students can be accommodated by the one teacher. But in the online classes, 100 students can be accommodated by the single teacher. It's quite tough to the teacher. There is a quite difficulty to handle the students who are in the online classes. This is the fact that happens in the online classes. There is no doubt can be asked by students due to the communications and technical issues. There are furthermore, more teachers and students in rural areas are not able to match up the technical skills of the educationalists and students in cities. There are some teachers are going to the cities from the rural areas to the schools and colleges in the cities, but there is a community issues. There is communication issues with the city students. And in the online classes, parents also want to take care to improve their knowledge, technical based skills, identify their extracurricular skills. But there is a difficulty to find their extracurricular activities in this online mode. The study found that the teachers did not have proper knowledge about online classes and had not been given any training. But the government in the online classes, due to online classes, middle-aged or old, they usually do not know how to conduct our online classes via smartphones or laptops. Many teachers have developed innovative ways to educate their work even in pandemic, like Card School, the announcement system, group studies, through videos in YouTube's, homeworks, providing assignments in the home. The group study is the most followed way in this pandemic situation. Group studies they have identified students who have a smartphone or internet in the particular the rural community. They have then clubbed with the students who don't have any internet access. This makes for an effective group study, which makes great use of limited resources. The teachers and lesson plans to the parents who have phones in this particular rural community. The other students make them note these down and finish their homeworks in their own homes. The teachers have also ensured social distancing by telling the students not to gather in the homes of those with the phones. Government initiatives through online mode, they translate the power of IT into an extended learning opportunities for all is the ethos of the online education. The government of India has launched the national mission of the education through ICF to democratize the opportunities of online learning. To promote digital education, various initiatives have been taken, such as Swayamprabha, Shodh, the National Digital Libraries deposited by the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Besides the platform, the MHRD has developed the Diksha channel. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for interruption, Kavi Bharati.
Yes, ma'am.
You can summarize your viewpoints. Could you please?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. The state government is launching the Illam Thedi Kalvi for the rural communities to enhance their knowledge in rural communities. The Illam Thedi Kalvi is still improved, and the training is provided for the teaching staffs. As there were two other alternatives. Both the central and state government ordered the online learning method during lockdown to resume the teachers' learning process. Beside these platforms, the Ilam Thedi Kalvi and numerous initiatives for the development of online learning in India. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma, thank you. Thank you for your active
Okay, ma'am.
participation and presentation, Kavi Bharati.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you for these opportunities for the IQEC of Sri College College. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is Dr. S. Abhirami from TSAAS Tamil College. Her topic is on online education, challenges faced by rural communities.
Ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am. Please unmute yourself.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Is this screen visible to you?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Okay, ma'am. Good morning to everyone. I welcome you all for this wonderful session. Our topic today, national level online seminar on challenges and remedies in online education in rural India. In this, I have chosen online education challenges faced by rural community. I am going to explain our own students' experience in this regard. Our college is located in a rural area. Most of our students from downtrodden category, that is, most of them are first literacy in their family. Online education. That is, education in the present scenario is an unpredictable one because the corona pandemic has reshaped the educational system into online mode. We know already. Certainly it is innovative, but obviously it is a very new method of teaching, especially for the rural students. Owing to COVID-19 pandemic, education institutions across the world have been closed and online classes started. Online education is an alternative to conventional offline education, though online education is considered to be a substitute for offline education. These are certain shortcomings in the former. Unless such shortcomings are eliminated, to the fruits of online education will not reach the needy. Yes, of course. The problems faced by the rural community, which is, as Harisha told, internet connectivity. This is still a massive problem in rural and remote areas, poor internet connectivity. During online exams, internet connectivity is a major challenge for the successful downloading and uploading. Technological device, unfortunately, the newest device and accessibility to online content is that is unaffordable for students in rural areas. Health issues, tablets, laptop health issues because of tablets, laptop, PC are unaffordable to rural students due to poor economic background. As a result, they are forced to use smartphone for attending the online classes, which leads to eyesight problem, many health issues like eyesight. No proper environment in the house to attend the class. There is no proper environment inside the house, and there is no adequate support from their parents while attending the class. Like parents with awareness, you can see the picture. Like with parents awareness on education as major support to the students, for the children, and then children with their own attempt, like the parents doesn't know the value of education, so the children are learning on their own attempt they are showing. And then my suggestion, according to this, what I mean is awareness. Since rural students have poor knowledge in using the technological devices, awareness programs may be conducted to enhance the familiarity with the creation of WhatsApp group, email ID, downloading files, uploading files, Zoom Meet, Google Meet, Google Class, and Google Drive, etc., etc. Then awareness programs on online education for rural students and their parents may be conducted at secondary educational level onwards. Instead of having academic activities throughout academic year on offline mode, weekly once students may be invited to attend online meeting, online seminar, online test, online exams, etc. Because this will help them to have continuous touch in an online mode. Computer skilled volunteers may be engaged for rectifying technical problems which are faced by rural students then and there. And then we may fix retired people, teachers, retired headmasters as volunteers to help the rural children in and around their locality. Thank you, ma'am. This is my presentation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation and sharing your experience.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants are asked to raise your queries,
If there is any.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. A. Balaji from Sri Kalishwari College to present his topic on online education in India during COVID-19 pandemic. The next presenter is Mr. A. Balaji from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. Is going to present his topic on online education in India during COVID-19 pandemic.
Balaji sir, for your online.
Very good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Just a minute, I'm presenting my PPT.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Very good morning to all. I am A. Balaji, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology. Today, I am going to present online education in India during COVID-19 pandemic. As we know very well, in the era of 2020s, India have a huge volume of expectations to achieve the goal of, we have strongly said that we are in the strong nation, one among them. As the sudden lockdown due to the worldwide coronavirus pandemic, people entered the age of digital revolution. In that, we are all compulsory to enter, that is, the students are compulsory to enter the way of online learning platform. Even though there should be a free to operate online platforms are available, both student and the staffs, like Google platforms and such other things, it will be helped to develop a lot of educational wise improvement through the internet for both student and staff. Many benefits we have in online education, like easy study at home, flexibility, time constraint. Moreover, that we have several disadvantages over traditional education system, gradually increasing the student knowledge. The teacher directly met student and observing his capability. Depends upon the capability, he innovating new way of teaching and everything. But after everything comes to that online mode, we have a lack on the type of developments. Online education, of course, is not a new phenomenon. In 80s, distance education learning programs initiated by University of London. This type of distance education on those days conducted by the postal programs. In 1873, first official correspondent educational program was established. Since then, we are gradually moved to non-traditional study to more viable online instructional management. 21st century is the technological key component education. From that, we have the advance of a lot of technical facility. Today, we have entered into different variety of learning methodology, remote learning, distance learning, virtual learning, blended learning. It's all started from 1870s. We have to choose an appropriate technologies for our current need. Of course, massive open online courses are providing a flexible online courses to all the members, that is student, learners, research people. We have studied a number of online programs. But even though, of course, we all know very well, this way of teaching and learning is new to all, so that we're facing some of these issues. The main issues that I mean in the statement of problem is internet we are using, that is students are using for entertainment is very clear. They are using entertainment in a better manner, but the same internet while they are using in education, it makes some troubles. We also received complaints from a student that lack of face-to-face interaction is a big trouble to the students. Once a student attendance in the class is come across by the better content providing teachers. So that lack having in the type of online programs, the exchange of ideas in real time, that's also is big trouble. When we are all simultaneously learning, we know very well that we won't speak each other in a real time. That should be the main issues here. A teacher bear the burden and the challenges. Of course, the teachers are learning traditional pattern. Their way of learning is teacher-centered. Today, they are entering into entirely different teaching phenomena, so that they can need to some time to settle in that type of teaching. Of course, we have some more technical issues also, internet connectivity, signal issues. That type of issues analysis in the online education COVID-19 situation in my statement of the problem that I'm initiating here. This objective of the study is to know the urgent growth and development of online education. They examine the online education in India during COVID-19. I've had to offer the suitable succession for the improvement of online education. Here I'm conducting methodology, that is collecting a questionnaire, 100 questionnaire from a respondent. The sample design based on 100 learners according to the convenience sampling technique. Based on that, I'm representing some more findings. This table indicated that in the sampling, 60% of 60% of people are male. Remaining 40% are in that response is female. Age-wise classification in there. I'm going to that essential point. Category-wise, that is should be the 52% are student. Of course, it is indicated 38% are faculty and 10% of others. That is others in parents and such other people. In that respondent that I received, 88% of respondent prefer offline education rather than online. I'm already meant that when they are going to that offline education, they have a certain benefit. 12% of people prefer online education. Maybe it will be some convenience based on the location, and they some flexibility they have in online.
Sir, sorry for interruption.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you summarize your viewpoints and findings?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. That what we receive in that interactivity yes, in that online classes. Cost factor we seen in that online classes. Due to that location of immobility, transportation, we reduce transportation time, such a things. 68% of people say yes, that should be the cost factor. Time saving, 73% respondents as time saving, and remaining 27 won't bother about time inaccessible. Location is accessible, 79% people say it will be says it will be yes. And main thing, impact of computer skill and infrastructure wise, the online education have 50% of respondents having poor knowledge in computer skills. That was with the main issues that we adopt in the present technology. And 36% of people responded average, and 14% of people responded as good. From that time concluded that we are overall gathering that data. They concluded that government need to provide some high-speed internet facility through multiple networks. Government can introduce online learning as a policy and provide financial capability to boost the online learning environment. Why? Because now it all started from that government side. After that, we climb everything from that private sector. 5 to 10 years back, BSNL is providing a service for WiMAX to the rural side. It will be very beneficial to the rural side. We accessing easily internet facility with the fast, cost economic internet facility. But in uncertainty, they stopped such a type of facility. So in present network capability, in most of the rural areas, it won't be reached properly. That should be the main thing. So government can take an initiative and solve that type of issues. Faculty can give an adequate training to handle such a type of online tools. Interactive session may overcome the problem of face-to-face and such a thing. The conclusion of the study is that online education is only feasible when we compare the COVID-19 pandemic. Because we know about that pandemic situation are unstoppable. One after another, we're facing a number of variants from that. Of course, the lockdown, it will not be ended in a particular time. It also continual in the loopable manner. So in that, we compare with that COVID-19 pandemic, the online education is the best thing. Continuous effort from the teacher and the environment of student attending and the classes is very important. So especially speaking, involvement of students is very important. For the involvement of students, teachers can make that way of online delivery is interactive manner. When we communicate that information in interactive manner, it will be benefited to the student. In the era of digitalization, the scope of online education increase even more and will be beneficial in future, definitely to students, professionals, and also the institutions. That was about my conclusion. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Next, I would like to invite Mrs. C. Kavita to make her presentation. The topic is digital learning, challenges confronted by remote areas.
Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Your PPT is visible, ma'am.
Good morning to all. Myself, Kavita, and my co-presenter is Mrs. Karmegala. We are from Computer Science Department. Now we are going to present a topic regarding digital learning, challenges confronted by remote areas. So now, what is digital learning? So digital learning is a learning with the help of some modern advancement tools such as laptop, laptop, and then mobile phones. So it enables the learners to learn in different ways. And in the past few years also, we are having this type of e-learning technologies. But due to COVID pandemic situation, now we are in the widespread of the shift of the remote learning. So whatever it may be, there are two categories of students, urban and rural students. More than urban students, rural students are facing so many roadblocks such as unavailability of proper digital tools, Wi-Fi connection without Wi-Fi connection or else internet connection. So most probably some students are not having the proper power supply and few students may use the older gadgets like button phones such as. And also, they also depend on their family members' mobile phones in order to attend the online classes. So, and also some students are having the mobile phones, the smartphones, but at the same time, they are not having the proper data plans. So there should be equality in education between urban and rural type of students. So urban students are more beneficiary than the rural students because they are facing so many challenges. Nearly 1.1 million rural schools, around 6 lakh villages in India facing this type of problems. So we should encourage the students in order to give their level of education and their literacy level. So digital learning should properly introduced among them also. Because there should be a there will be a gap in haves and have-nots. So students in rural areas do not have the proper digital tools and proper infrastructures. Even they may also borrow the phones from the neighbors and parents and some others. So over 250 million students are facing these type of problems. So our main objective of this paper is to apprehend the hurdles confronted by the students in the rural area, and we also illustrated some experience of students adopting the digital education during the COVID-19 pandemic situations. So due to this corona, now we are in the online mode of education. But experts agree that there is a transition, but this transition should not be easier. Both teachers as well as students. So students should be familiar with these types of digital learning technologies. So there should be a familiarity among students as well as staff members. So we have to develop the new skills among the students. Because there's a hole between the poverty-stricken and the higher family situation. The biggest hurdle is rural type of students having the insufficient digital gadgets and then lack of internet connections. Nowadays, we are facing so many problems. We just listed the two problems here. One is 16-year-old girl studying in class 10 from Saj village committed a suicide because she couldn't buy a smartphone because they are comes under poverty-stricken family. And another case is 14-year-old daughter of a daily wage laborer in South India of South state of Kerala killed herself because she couldn't also catch the television itself because nowadays our government provide a Kalvi TV online education, but she also couldn't hold up that due to this financial shortage problem. So more of the poor families are suffering due to this lack of plannings from the COVID pandemic itself, that is mid of the March 25th, 2019 itself. They cannot adapt with this virtual learning due to this financial problem. So even few students can afford this type of facilities. More of the students are more problems facing nowadays. So it leads to the more stress among the youngsters. So even Tamil Nadu government initiated the online class through Kalvi channel to reach the students in government schools. Our private schools, where few children from poor families have to adopt this type of online classes. So, and the communication is a major lack because according to the survey, 47% of the school students were taught in Hindi and others 33% were focused on their mother tongue during the face-to-face learning. But in each type of learning, every instructions will be in English. So it is more challenging to the rural government school students because they may belong to the first generation of learners. Next will be carried out by my co-presenter. Lack of communication, lack of familiarity with high tech, and lack of infrastructure, limited availability of technology, and lack of motivation, our rural children face a lot of problems in digital education. Now I'll control my presentation. So our country needs to take necessary action to ensure proper access to technology to tackle the shortcoming of distance education to households. Government may take initiative to change the perception of quality education only being associated with the English medium learning system only. In order to eradicate the shortage of power supplies, we may go for the usage of solar energy. In addition to poor network connectivity, teachers may prepare comprehensive pre-recorded short video sessions and make them available to all students at any time from anywhere. To promote equitable, inexpensive, and good quality resources, to facilitate e-learning for all kinds of students in every nook and corner of the country, additional policies may be introduced at higher levels. Thank you.
Ma'am, you have made a wonderful job with case studies and statistical analysis. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Next, we would like to invite Ms. N. Mageshwari from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi, to present a topic. The topic is online education, challenges faced by rural communities.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. So good morning, everyone. I'm Mageshwari from Department of Mathematics of Sri Kalishwari College. Here I'm going to highlight my views on challenges faced by rural communities in online education. We all know that knowledge is power. Education is the premises of progress in every society, in every family. Education is the medium that gives us skills, techniques, information, and knowledge to know, understand, and respect duties we have towards our society, family, and nation. Therefore, the magnitude of importance of education in life is huge as well as multifold. The importance of education in life is that it helps everyone to develop a good perspective of looking at the world and our society. Education helps us in getting new ideas and exploring new ideas. In this paper, the challenges faced by rural students while implementing online education are analyzed. Institutions across the globe, recognizing the importance of education in one's life, operate with flexible previous study criteria and along with considering multiple other factors such as experience and extracurricular activities. This encourages individuals hailing from a diversity of backgrounds to apply and gain access to best in-class infrastructure, leading professors, and multicultural study environment. Online learning is a catalyzing pedagogical shift in how we teach and learn. That is a shift away from top-down lecturing and passive students to a more interactive, collaborative approach in which the students and instructor co-create the learning process. The instructor's role is changing from the sage on the stage to the guide on the side. Here come some of the positive factors on online education. They are convenience, enhanced learning, interactive, innovative teaching, flexibility, affordability, nature-friendly, and time-saver. Even though we have so many positive factors, we have so many drawbacks and challenges in online education. First, let us see the status of online education in rural India. Online education is the growing phase of education system in India. COVID-19 has caused destruction and devastation worldwide in ways nobody can anticipate. Due to the global pandemic, online education has fallen into the most basic level schools and colleges. Online education has taken huge toll on social, mental, and physical health of students as well as their teachers. So here comes the major challenges while incorporating online education in rural India. The first one is socio-economic divide. India is a diverse country, and within these diversities come wide varieties of cultures and beliefs, and because of it, India suffers a huge socio-economic divide. Not even 1/3 of population receives online education. For the low-class community like farmers, maids, household staffs, sweepers who have low income, affording a laptop or a computer is a really difficult task. The next one is gender differentiation. Another challenge is the differentiation between girls and boys in our country. In the majority of the cases, smartphones belongs to the male adults, often lesser accessible to girls than boys. Half of these families could not afford internet packages, and their children had to rely on the lessons that are aired on television. The next challenge is poor network connectivity and internet drawbacks. In rural areas, lack of internet connectivity, less to power supply, and unaffordability to buy relevant devices is the major concern. Even if the rural areas are gaining knowledge about new technologies like smartphones, laptops, or tablets, and are doing everything to afford it, the lack of internet network supply is still a big issue. The major challenge in online education is the practical learning. Practical learning is not possible in online education. Even if the teachers can explain the theoretical aspects, students will need practical training to grasp what they have learned, which is most common in subjects like science and arts, practical arts. Let us move to the major drawbacks of online education. Digital media today is the blend between classical and conventional way of learning, like books, notebooks, and digital software like ebooks and PDFs. Online education has drastically changed the way we study. But the year and a half of attending online classes from home has led to the string of mental and physical health issues for both students and teachers. Here I list out some of the drawbacks of online education. The first one is lack of interest. Most of the students switch off their cameras and go to their other activities. This lethargy has inculcated the loss of interest in not only the students, but everything overall. Next one is stress and anxiety. The concentration level of students dropped in online learning as the eye meanders elsewhere on the screen. This is the response made it difficult for most of the students to keep up with the teaching. So one more problem is the eyesight problem. Increased screen time has increased the strain on the eyes, resulting in major headaches. This is applicable not only for the students, but also for the teachers. Some more drawbacks are lack of classroom ethics and bad ergonomics. lack of physical activities, lack of vitamin D. Online education has resulted in lack of vitamin D. Lack of sunlight, poor diet, exercise has resulted in more problems than one could anticipate. The last drawback is excessive screen time. Excessive screen time also becomes an issue to the parents whose children attend these classes with classworks, homeworks, assignments, everything going digital. Children will be engrossed in their smartphone or laptop screens, and it is not good for their mental health. It puts strain on their eyes and brain. As a whole, online education started as a great advantage, but it took a drastic time and did not work as so much in the same spirit. Physical well-being has gone to a complete task. It is important as to keep in mind all these aspects to prevent any future harm that will turn into lifelong problem. E-learning offers more freedom to learners, but also requires planning for their own self-development and high self-discipline. It means that self-discipline becomes highly important to ensure learners' accomplishments and allow them achieving learning goals. These are my references. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation. You have clearly mentioned the challenges.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's okay. The next participant is Mr. S. Sangali Pandi from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. The next participant is Mr. S. Sangali Pandi from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. The topic is challenges faced on online education in rural India.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to all. So today I am going to give on topic of challenges faced on online education by rural community in India. So in this topic, we will discuss about the education, about online education, and the challenges on education, challenges on online education, finally advantages and the disadvantages of online education. So first of all, we can see what is online education. So here the non-existence of a physical classroom. The non-existing of a classroom, physical classroom, which
So
is
kindly switch on your video, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Kindly switch on your video, sir.
Yes, sir. You may proceed.
So online education is a non-existence of the physical classroom, which is and reduce the performance. And according to the United States Department of Education, they said that online learning is the learning that is undertaken on a computer by means of the internet. That means the education is only with the internet and the computer. They are connected with the teacher and the students. So before going to that, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So many people, they said education is the most important for the world development. So again we can go for the challenges on education. So in the education, we can see the lack of infrastructure and faculty, and children have limited or no access to basic learning tools such as well-equipped classrooms or instruments and computers, labs and playgrounds, among other things. and some are teachers are often not qualified, which leads to the poor quality of education. Then next is challenges on online education. So what are the challenges on online education? Nowadays we are facing and exploring the biggest challenges on online education today. So the lack of motivation in students and infrastructure problem in the rural areas and the digital literacy and technical issues in the some rural areas and a lack of in-person interactions, and finally lack of special or coaching classes in the online learning or online teaching for the specially needed students. Next, we can see the challenges facing on rural India's. So in rural schools, in rural India, schools face several challenges that are unique to their environment, mainly for the environment. A lack of personal interaction in children's education and insufficient funding from the states, the corresponding states, and lack of resources, underqualified teachers, and multi-grade teaching are the some basic barriers which are affect the education quality. Then many teachers in rural areas are not able to match up the technical skills of the education and the students in their cities. As a country takes the online education, the current pandemic is impacting the rural students and their studies. However, e-learning is the transforming the sector even in remote rural areas. Finally, the lack of purchases, the data plans and devices such as mobiles and computers and laptops also some of the challenges facing in the rural areas. Then what is the advantages of online education and what is the disadvantages of online education? First, we can see that what are the disadvantages of online education. So here, disadvantages of online learning. Online learning may create a sense of isolation. It means students are isolated from the teachers and everyone learns in their own manner. And online learning requires self-discipline, and online learning requires additional training for the instructors. That means the teachers also have to learn so many things to teach the many techniques. Online educations are also needed technical issues. They have some technical issues also in the online education. Finally, online education means they can spend more on screen time. That means they can spend more on the screen on laptops or mobile phones. So if you see in the survey about the online education in India, digital divides the total population in rural India, they have 66%, and in urban places they have 34%. But the internet usage, if you see the internet usage in rural areas, only 25% only they are using. But in urban areas, internet usage is 97.9, almost 98% they using the internet. So this is the difference between the online education issues in the rural and the urban places. So here we can see some advantages of online education. So here are a few advantages of online education or learning that can help students and the parents. So here, lesson cost.
Sorry for interruption, sir. Could you summarize your viewpoints? Could you summarize your findings, sir?
Okay, madam. Okay, madam. So few are the most important advantages for online education. So first is lesson cost, time saving, and tech savior, and easy for attendance, and less competition and less intensive, and improves the time management and more accessible for the students and for the parents also. These are some of the advantages of online education. And here are some disadvantages of online education. Here is less concentration, health issues, and it is expensive for the students and the parents, and lack of sociality skills, and the isolation of students, and the limitation. And that limitation means some data we cannot access completely through online. That is the limitation, and lack of good internet connection, and finally the prevention of cheating in difficult. That means we cannot see every student by a teacher. That is the some problems in the online education. Thank you, Madam Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Good analysis of the topic, sir. Thank you so much. The next presenter is Dr. P. Poundraj from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. The next presenter is Dr. P. Poundraj from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. His topic is Online Education, Challenges Faced by Rural Communities. The next presenter is Dr. P. Poundraj. His topic is Online Education, Challenges Faced by Rural Communities. Poundraj sir, are you online? Are you online, sir? Poundraj sir, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, you can proceed, sir. You can share your PPT.
Yes.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible, sir. You may proceed.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Your screen is visible. You may proceed.
Okay. Myself, P. Poundraj. My co-presenter is Mrs. M. Murugalakshmi. Now I present my topic. The heading is Online Education, Challenges Faced by Rural Communities. This is my overview of my presentations. Introduction, COVID-19 annual coronavirus disease spreading across the globe. Many countries have ordered the closure of all educational institutes. Educational institutions have come to a functional standstill since they had to protect their students from viral exposures, which are likely in a highly socializing student community. Even though the lockdown and the social distancing are the only way to slow down the spread of COVID-19 by breaking the chain of transmission, the closure of educational institutes have affected a large number of students. Now the online mode of education. During this time, most of the universities and the colleges have shifted to online mode using some platforms. The educational institutions in affected areas are seeking stop-gap solution to continue teaching, but it is important to note that the learning quality depends on the level of digital access and efficiency. The online learning environment varies profoundly from the traditional classroom situation when it comes to learners' motivation, satisfaction, and interaction. Now, some advantages are e-learning. The main advantages are we can save money and time. Also, it is flexible in time management. Many education institutions save money through this setup because there is no need to use physical classroom, which translates to reduce mandatory spendings. We can choose our learning path and study at our own pace. You become more motivated and invested in the course. There are disadvantages also. It have e-learning is one of the major cause of social isolation. Some have very limited access to the internet because in rural places there is no network. It is a poor network coverage. There are no teachers are protected to watch over during exams, so we are unable to control the malpractices There is no hands-on experiments like conducting experiments. It is most modern way of learning that requires only a gadget and internet access. However, it is not for everybody. Online education versus rural communities, the schools being shut down across the globe due to the pandemic, the education system has affected drastically. There are certain benefits to this. There are numerous challenges related to the online education as well as especially in rural backdrop. Even though the education system in India and the largest after in China, quality education in rural and villages areas remains in one of the biggest challenges. Numerous studies have demonstrated the gap between rural education. The issue being faced as per the survey report titled Annual Status of Education Report, 70% of students in class 5 and 60% of students in class 8 from rural schools cannot do simple basic divisions. In addition, 56% of class 5th students and 31% of class read the class 2 textbooks. The disparity of wealth, poor infrastructure, laxity and trained and skilled teachers, student-teacher ratio, inadequate teaching materials, lack of availability of electricity and limited no access to the learning material are among the challenges faced by the Indian rural schools and colleges. There is an urgent need of reinvention that would be provided students with the option in distance learning. The rapid increase of technology in the education system amidst the pandemic has given rise to a new era where the traditional methods of teaching should be revamped and enhanced by introducing and adapting newer teaching techniques. Now the solution for the e-learning, an important factor to keep in mind while implementing the hybrid learning approach is to ensure that the quality of the learning experience is the same as in class training. Social inventions in the form of solar-based digital education have enabled digital classrooms in remote areas in the absence of electricity. The lack of funds in major barriers is in introducing it in rural areas. These barriers can be eliminated when all stakeholders join hands to provide affordable and accessible e-learning solution to augment the education system in rural India. Thank you.
Sir, could you say what do you mean by solar-based digital education?
Ma'am, in electricity, it is a main. So in rural, people have cut off electricity, face the problem cut off electricity. So it is, they have a solar panels, then they access electricity easily, ma'am. 24 hours.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we would like to invite Mr. K. Ganesh Babu from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi, to present his topic on e-learning, challenges for education in rural and remote areas.
Is the screen is visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, good morning, all of you. E-learning. Yes, ma'am.
The PowerPoint is not shared, sir.
Sorry, ma'am.
Screen is visible, but PPT is not visible.
Okay, ma'am. 1 minute.
Sir, please switch on your video also.
1 minute. Wait, ma'am. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Shall I talk with my views or share the PPT, ma'am? I think it's not shared.
Yes, sir. Not yet shared.
Shall I continue with my view or?
Okay, sir. If there is difficulty, we may proceed without.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So, the challenges online education, the challenges faced by rural area as well as remote area students. First of all, digital education is one of the most important arena in the current scenario. And because without a digital education, then nowadays education can't survive. Because e-learning is a complete solution for a pandemic learning. Without e-learning, a solution for a pandemic is a biggest question mark for any kind of learners. It's maybe for a students or maybe for a teachers or maybe for any kind of person. E-learning is a temporary as well as permanent solution for the each and every nook and corner of the country. Yesterday, our chief guest also rightly pointed out that digital education is kind of a education that needs to go with the all end of the corner of the country. Okay, this digital education should be segregated into two areas. First one depends upon a student's mindset, and the second one depends upon the teacher's mindset. So in student mindset, it's a kind of challenges for any kind of students that basically for a rural as well as remote area students, device is most prominent technology. Equipment is the most prominent knowledge for them to buy or to take for a rent. It's a kind of it is the biggest challenge for them. But once they get a device, a network is as far as I'm a computer science teacher, I will explain throughout the network. The network area for the students are in the rural areas as well as remote areas. The communication network as well as the service providers are very less consuming capacity. That kind of towers are not installed in the rural area. That kind of towers are not installed in the remote areas. So that the students, they have come from rural area as well as remote area students they have come up with a certain place. In my PPT also I explained that in Telangana as well as in Tamil Nadu, the Dharmaburi district, the most remote as well as rural area students came to some particular places in the town area. For example, if they want to attend the classes, they have to come to the town area of the particular district. It's a kind of a problem that have been faced by the students as well as for teachers. The problems are in the way of the immediate switchover, because from March up to until March 15th, 2019, the teachers are taken classes in offline. They came for physical classes, but suddenly from March 16th, they have to switch over with the help of devices and with the help of the telecommunication network. This is a kind stress for the teachers as well as the students also. And the second one is age barrier, because moreover the teachers are getting aged. Whenever the teachers are getting aged, we have to update ourselves day by day. But in case of this in online education or digital learning, the teachers are trying to upgrade them very in a rapid manner. So the teachers are getting affected with the help of the age barrier. But whatever it may be, teacher is a teacher. Whatever it may be, whatever the situation, whatever the place, whatever the environment, whatever the society given to teachers, a teacher is a teacher. They achieved a lot with the help of digital learning. They overcome the challenges. But in case of rural and remote area students, the teachers are very much struggle to reach them. But government as well as moreover central government or a state government, they taken a very good initiative such as Illam Thedi Kalvi scheme. Those kind of schemes are very much effective and very much reachable to the students, those who are from the rural and the remote area students. These the things are break the barriers which faced by the rural and the remote area students. And likewise, the physical issues will be happened for kids. Those are, but as per the Supreme Court order, they banned the online classes from LKG to standard. But nobody, not even a private schools, not even a single private school doesn't follow the instruction, because they have to pay the salary for their teachers, so they get a fees from the parents. So once they get a fees from the parents, in the sense they have to conduct online classes. But in case of the online classes, whenever we continuously watch the screen, it's easily affect nervous system within us, because moreover some of the teachers are 30 to 35 years of age. The teachers have a problem with continuously they are watching the screen. But in the scenario, the particular child age students are really very much affected due to the online classes, and moreover the stress behind the home itself, because moreover the students in the background of the nearby neighbors home or with their friends home, there are well equipped homes or somebody is there. but in their home it's not, in the sense they urge their parents, so the parents are getting affected due to the online classes. But the solution is the online class in the means, but the solution is e-learning as well as digital learning. In this case, as per I'm going to conclude with this. Yes ma'am.
Yes sir, could you summarize?
Oh, yes, I'm going to summarize. Okay, as per our former law minister and the father of the social justice, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar rightly said, educate, organize as well as agitate. This is the one of the most important quote which you have to learn. Whatever the situation, whatever the environment, we have to learn, and teachers we have to teach. So that's a point I have to conclude. Okay, thank you for the nice opportunity. Thank you IQC team as well as the participants.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your presentation. The next presenter is
Dr. G. Varadaraju from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. Dr. G. Varadaraju from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes, sir. You can share your PPT.
Yeah, yes.
You can proceed, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it visible, ma'am?
So not yet, sir.
So you have not shared your presentation, sir. PPT.
Sir, your video is visible. Your PPT is not yet. Yes, sir, it's visible now. You may proceed.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, one and all. I am G. Varadaraj, Assistant Professor, Botany Department, Sri Kalishwari College. So I am going to discuss about the topic entitled on access denied, challenges in aspiring education, nutrition, and behavior during COVID-19. So during the pandemic period, all access are denied. For example, all the educational institutions are closed. Transport facilities are completely stopped. There is no group play for the children, and most of the workshop places are closed, and the entertainment places for children, park is closed, and the family associations are completely stopped. Apart from this, the most important is the food provided from the school is completely stopped. So the impact is reflected on students and parents. So I'm going to discuss more about the impact of the COVID pandemic situation on students and parents. First, the students. So during the lockdown period, all were stayed in their home. The alternative choice is online. Students were benefited with no fruitful quality. So we all know that literally poor students got promoted without technical skill. That all teachers might know that. And in the parent side, most of their parents lost their job or they got low income, which leads to stop the education of their child. So the job loss or low income, which reflect on students' education and their food habit. So education, the conventional education facilities were reduced to aspire knowledge. So due to this lack of facility, the students are failed to aspire the more knowledge or failed to update themselves. So it become only through online classes. Second one is the poor proper food. The parents were not able to provide proper food to their child due to poor income. They even though to overcome this situation, most of the educational institute and private sectors were helped to the hungry people, but it was not sufficient or not provided to all the needy people throughout the lockdown period. So we have to think about the facility available in the urban area and rural area during the lockdown period. The facilities available in the urban area, such as the urban area, students got their education through mobile phone or laptop, through online mode, and they have any physical illness, so they have avail the hospital facility, and without any disturbance, they are provided with the food material, food, and for entertainment, they are using online games. But in the case of a rural area, so there is nothing. So this is the difference between the facility available in the rural area and the urban area. So we all know that what facility provided or what facility available in the rural area students. So during the pandemic situation, that the classrooms are empty. Students, they stayed there in their home. Food partially provided for the students, and the students were educated whatever the facility they have, and it leads to the malnutrition. So this is the major cause which I am going to point out here during the pandemic situation. According to National Health Family Survey, in the year of 2015 to 16, 38.4% children under 5 years are low height for age, and 21% people are low weight for height in India. There are about 189.2 million undernourished people in India. So during this pandemic situation, because of the malnutrition, most of the women and children were affected more. The COVID-19 pandemic period have had inevitable negative impact. I think most of the presenter discussed about the positive impact and the negative impact on online education. Before that, before my presenter, the Ganesh Babu detailedly explained about how the facilities are provided. The technical facilities are provided to the urban people and the rural students. So raising unemployability, food supply disturbance, downturn in international trade, etc., pose serious challenges to the already precarious India for nutrition security. So the pandemic has threatened India for security landscape across all food sectors, such as availability. So the urban people anyhow somehow managed the situation, but the rural people, the availability is big question mark. Though they are available with some facility, how much they have access, that is very big question mark. Even though they have access the stability, the facilities are the facilities will be provided in a stable manner. That is a very big question. And the utilization of these resources are very difficult. So these are the problems faced during the pandemic situation. So ultimately the rural people are the prohibited or a lack of proper and sufficient nutrition, so which leads to the malnutrition, and the malnutrition leads to the suppression of immune system. The suppression of immune system leads to again more risk factor to the different diseases. So this is the cycle effect. So this is because of the malnutrition problem faced during the pandemic situation. Another important thing is the food must provided to every children. So that is very important, very important for all human beings, because the hungriness will suppress the cognitive development of the people. So with this information, I am going to conclude that the pandemic interconnect with the brittle food and the nutrition security landscape in India. Accessibility should be equal to all in all. Expand the availability across the rural area. So in order to manage this situation, the duties for a teacher, they have to make the students with the intellectual skills and the students with a stress-free mind and a healthy body to overcome all the challenges. So கொரோனாவை ஒழிப்போம், கல்வி தரத்தை உயர்த்துவோம், வாழ்க பாரதம். வளர்க தமிழ். நன்றி. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presentation. You have wonderfully connected the dots between the malnutrition and educational impact. Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
The next presenter is Mr. R. Sri Janaki Raman. The next presenter is Mr. R. Sri Janaki Raman.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
my voice audible, ma'am?
You are audible. You are audible.
Okay. Screen is sharing, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Sri Janaki, sir, so I'm going to be the topic of online education challenges faced by rural communities. So we're going to be discussed, right? What is an online education? Is a type of the education that is delivered via online education system, but it's one of the educational instruction that was delivered through the internet, right? The students at home, but the help of the and computers and mobile devices, they can watch there. Due to the global pandemic,
Sir, Varadarajan sir, Janaki Raman sir.
Janaki Raman, sir, are you online? There's a problem in your connectivity, I think. Janaki Raman, sir, are you online?
ma'am, கேக்குதா ma'am? Hello ma'am, கேக்குதா?
But your connectivity is not stable, I think.
I think I am sitting in the library, ma'am. Okay.
But internet connectivity.
In the library.
Sir. Yes, sir, you may continue.
Wait, just a minute, ma'am. So, due to the due to the global pandemic, COVID-19, all the educational institutions, right, schools and the colleges are moved their education systems into their online. Okay, so online system is nothing but the system is already implemented in the year 1999. 1989 itself it was implemented, but fully is implemented in the year of 2019. So this online teacher system is nothing but teachers and the students are faced many problems in rural areas. Okay, so for example, India is the country where 60% areas are covered by the rural areas and 40% only the cities and towns. Okay, so in this paper I'm going to be discussed about what are the challenges that are faced by the rural students. Okay, so introductions first, that is the point again I'm telling it. So COVID-19 is one of the serious issues in the mid 2019. So all the around the nations there will be many millions of people are affected and lakhs of people are dead. So as per immediate announcement of government, that is a lockdown, all the works are moved into the online. Okay, so jobs including everything will be moved there in the online, work from home. Okay, simply. So the lockdown means that it was not possible to freeze the syllabus. Okay, and so in order to freeze the syllabus, the educational system, the educational institutions and universities and the colleges are moved into their online. Okay, so online system is nothing but that will be requires digital devices Okay, so along with the internet connectivity. So online systems, right? We have the digital devices, which is the computers, laptop or mobile devices with a high bandwidth we are required for that. So video conferencing, like we can share the files, right? PPT and PDF, portable document formats, and some others, okay, audio, video clippings, or we can share to the students through the WhatsApp or Telegram, where we can share with it, okay? And we can conduct the online classes through the Google or Google Meet or Microsoft Teams or what we say that Zoom also we can use for that, right? And the online system is I think it is a challenging task for rural students and staffs. I already told you, India is the country that 60% is covered by the rural areas and 40% will be the cities and towns. So what are the challenges? So one of the biggest tasks is the internet connection. So in the rural areas, if you take that down, so internet availability not at all available. So internet is covered only in the cities and towns. Okay, many students you can study in the newspapers or some others that the students are sitting in the clamp of the tree. Okay, so they'll be sitting in the clamp of the trees and they will studying them. Some of the students who want to study the classes, they will come to the town and from 4 to 5 kilometers, they will come to the city and download whatever the materials and attend the classes in online. And after that, they will move their native place. Okay, so we are need of the high bandwidth is needed for to use the online internet connectivity. So financial constraints. So purchasing a data packages is a very, very important one. So internets are nowadays are very costly. If you take the 2 GB Zio will be nowadays will be 720. So rural areas are very the families are very farmers. Okay, you know that the very farmers students they will be below the average levels. Okay, so 800 rupees per month, and also the buying the Android mobile phone is also costly. When the years up to 19 and 20, the mobile phone costs are smartphone costs are increased by 7%. 8,000 phones are increased by 13,000 and 14,000. Many shops are increased. Because of this, is very difficult to buy a mobile phone for the farmers for their child. I am also reading an article in the newspaper that one of the farmer commits the suicide. He is unable to satisfy.
Taragraman, sir,
Yeah, yes,
for interruption.
Yes.
Could you please summarize? Could you please summarize your point?
Ma'am, summarize means so one of the this is the discuss all the points are the challenges. So the digital system is one. Digital systems is one of the best solution for that thing is the television. If you take the television now, television is almost all the home nowadays, rural areas. Okay, you see the Tamil Nadu government. Tamil Nadu government is open the Kalvi TV for the people now. So TV is there, is almost every people in the home, both the rural areas, cities and town. This is the one solution. And another one solutions will be what is that is before we are going to be handling the online classes, we are need of the teachers and the staff should be technically will be there. So rural areas people are not at all there. So both the teachers and the students must be there, technically will be there. So and another very important thing is government is have a many digital systems. Okay, so digital like Swam Prabha and PM Evodia, some 12 TV channels or government is implemented under the Modi government. Through the things only we can see and watch the online videos at any time in the YouTube channels or whatever it is. So this is the temporary solutions for the online educations. And after that the normal situations we are go through the syllabus once again, because the chalkboard technique is a very good one. The technique through the classroom atmosphere is the best solution for the students. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presentation, sir. The next presenter is
Mrs. A. Shankar Gomadi from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi. Mrs. A. Shankar Gomadi from Sri Kalishwari College, Sivahasi.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Now I share my screen, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone. Jasmine ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
My screen is viewable, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone present here. My topic is review of e-learning initiatives in India. So here I have to make a just study about what are the e-learning initiatives available in India during the pandemic situation. So first of all, the e-learning activities are important for the development of each and every country as well as education department. So e-learning means we have to learn any courses or any methodologies from your hometown or from your devices. That is the main meaning of e-learning. So e-learning provide a formal and informal opportunity for the learner to come together from the teacher as well as other experts in their field. For that, so e-learning in the modern era, everybody thinks about the growth and education from in the home due to the pandemic situation. So the e-learning concept is a completely different from the traditional learning method. So we have to here in this study, I just observed what are the e-learning initiatives available in our country. This is my introduction. So e-learning is a learning system based on the formalized teaching, but with the help of electronic resources that is known as the e-learning. Why we discuss about the e-learning means we have a lot of pandemic in the year from 2020 to 22. So so how to use the various e-learning initiatives in our country, that one I make a study. So this is the initiatives at the national level. So initiatives at the national level in the means what are the plans and schemes are providing by the central government in the Department of Ministry of Human Resource Development as well as University Grant Commission. So first one is a Vidyadan. The Vidyadan that the program focused on the growth sourcing of teachers' content was planned to country innovation by supplying the teachers and students from the various metro cities to remote areas or smallest villages. So second one is a creative and critical thinking. So creative and critical thinking means that is a weekly practice program that can be developed, that can be used to develop our cognitive skills from the real life circumstances. So it mainly used for teachers as well as students. So teachers can also use the things to facilitate the conversation and involve the learners in the self-learning environment. So the third one is a Diksha. The Diksha for COVID training. So for COVID training for the physicians, nurses and ASH staff, NSS, NCC and so many volunteers. From the year of 2020, from now today itself. In the Diksha, it can be used for 17 lakh individual training session. So 17 lakh training sessions can be performed and well certified. The second one, the fourth one is e-Vidya. So e-Vidya is one of the plan that can be developed by the Government of India in the Department of Human Resource Development. So in the e-Vidya also we can have a lot of e-content that can be created by the teachers as well as learners from all state and UTs. And the fifth one is online MOOC courses, online MOOC courses. The MOOC courses can be created or can be converted, can be uploaded or can be monitored by the SWAYAM as well as so many platforms that can be developed by under the Government of India. So in the MOOC course, we have the lot of up to 92 courses. In the 92 courses can be learned by the 155 up to 1.5 crore learners enrolled. For last one is EPG. It is a digital platform. The particular digital platform we can access so many e-textbooks. Nearly 6,000 e-books can be accessed by by the anyone. So the textbooks is fully based on the class 1 to up to 12th standard students.
Sandar Gomadi ma'am.
Yes ma'am.
Summarize your presentation ma'am.
Yes ma'am.
Okay.
In this slide, I just saw what are the entities at our state level. What are the central level that can be adopted by our state. TN Diksha, it can be adopted by our state. In particular environment, we have trained in so many physicians, nurses, doctors. And then the Tamil Nadu Teachers Platform, as well as Kalvi Tolakachi, accessible in the particular YouTube channel, Tamil Nadu Vagupare Noki. These schemes are developed by our state and fully focused about our school education, school student as well as college students. These particular initiatives taken by our state level as well as school level. The particular initiatives taken by the state level means it can be used for the software like Zoom as well as Google Meet, YouTube. So in this particular e-learning environment, we have some positive impacts: blended learning, learning management system, flexible schedule, as well as improvement of resources. So blended learning means we have to learn the certificate courses or learn the degree program through the online from wherever we can. So what are the challenges? Here I show the challenges of digital education. So challenges from the student side as well as educational institution side as well as parents, government side, we can have a lot of challenges. In the miscellaneous areas, we have electricity power as well as we have inadequate internet facilities. Also, we can access e-content. These are the challenges of digital education. So here I show what are the suggestions. If we have a lot of challenges, in the means the challenges can be overcome by these suggestions. So here I show the yes ma'am. Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is Mrs. M. Charanya from Sri Kalishwari College. The topic is online learning, challenges faced by rural communities. Mrs. M. Charanya. Yes, ma'am, it is visible, ma'am. You can proceed.
My topic is online learning, challenges faced by rural education. Abstract. Educational institution across India has been closed since the middle of the March 2020 due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. Schools and colleges in rural, remote areas of India are experiencing challenges due to the closed institution. The study that online learning is challenging due to the factor of pandemic situation. Ma'am, screen terida ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, stress has been experienced by students, parents, and teachers from the tradition of online learning. My introduction is the pandemic posed on to the closure of all kinds of organization across the world. A closure of all sets of educational institution was the significant physical distancing measure adopted by the government of different countries. Online education was introduced to the Indian education system as a, it's the first time online learning is introduced. And the method of learning occurs across the digital devices along with internet connectivity. The various apps are used, Google Meet, Zoom, WebEx, like that. What is the problem? Means with the discussion of government issue, they resume the classes and encourages students. Traditional education challenge changed to the online mode of education. Teachers and students are required to find to connect a way of challenges of familiar. It's a new way of teaching, learning, education. And before the pandemic, online learning was not familiar with teachers. Being restricted at home, challenges to quickly learn a new technology. Many teachers are experienced the single most distressing episode of the current age. Online education is also likely to the burden of learning gap between the middle-aged peoples. What is the problem arising in that time? The biggest hurdles to moving online education in India is the insufficient digital issues for the students and the lack of internet connection at home, like poverty people. Away from school and friends, students find online classes are very boring. The study and document of major changes teachers and teachers' responsibilities. What is the objective of my paper is? The objective is study to illustrate the experience of school teachers, students, and parents adopting the online education during COVID-19 lockdown. What is the methodology used? One, the qualitative study has limits the strong point of the method that is considers the perspective of all active participants, that is the students, parents, and teachers. And the study explored the students wise in depth of students' attitude and views and the parents' problem and the various issues. The major questions are raised from the students and the teachers and the parents. The students are faced the questions are what is the experience of e-learning and the it's interesting or boring. Like that, the teachers faces the questions and the challenges we face because of school closer to the traditional to online learning, classroom learning, and the parents face the problems are it's a what is the results of the my paper is, and there is a serious challenge to take online classes owing to the no limited network. Sometimes I have to guide outside of my home for network issues. Online learning is suitable for urban places where there is no network problem. All the students are not able to benefit from the online learning as they are used to traditional learning. Doubt clearing is very easy also, and friends and teachers, the communication was improved. And discussion of the paper is, in most of the school there is no facilities for online classes till now, and the teachers are still getting training to how to conduct online classes. Even through the telecommunication and the internet available in grassroots areas of India, not every place has the strong network and internet services. So the students was very affected. Lack of teacher, student and student teacher interaction. The blackboard method of teaching learning affected the quality of education given by the students. This is my conclusion. The finding of the study are significant for the implementation of online education. It is suggested here the proper training should be provided for both the students and the teachers. Smartphones and other necessary extensions should be provided to the economically for poor students. If possible, students and the educational institution should be reopened with authorized to the social distancing and the proper precautions to prevent the individuals from the getting affected. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your contribution. The next presenter is Mrs. M. Kalishwari from Sri Kalishwari College. Mrs. M. Kalishwari from Sri Kalishwari College. The topic is rural education in India. The next presenter is Mrs. M. Kalishwari from Sri Kalishwari College. The topic is rural education in India.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
is my voice audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my voice is audible, ma'am?
Audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Your
Okay, ma'am.
screen is also
Good afternoon to everyone. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone. I am Kalishwari from Department of Mathematics of Sri Kalishwari College, Sivagasi. Now, I am going to highlight some points on rural education in India. There is a famous saying of Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Education is a stairway to the growth and development of humankind. Education shapes society into a better world. Education in rural India is a catalyst to improve the economic and social well-being of the nation. According to the annual State of Education Report 2019, only 16% of children in class 1 in 26 survived rural districts in India can read the text at the prescribed level, while almost 40% cannot even recognize letters. In this paper, challenges in ensuring education to rural people in India are explored. First, let us start with the importance of education for a country. An uneducated individual can never be fully aware of their responsibilities towards each other as human beings and the country as a whole. As human beings, we have to give back to the society we live in and make it a better place to live for everybody. Proper education teaches an individual to think beyond their own personal interests and helps them in developing an ability to make that country a happier, safer place for the next generation. Why education is important for our country as well as any country in the world? To make citizens of a country understand their true potential through the means of education. It teaches an individual the importance of differentiating between good and bad as well as right and wrong. An educated person can strive for the betterment of the country. Here comes my views on the educational institutions for the betterment of the society. Educational institutions are a source of formal education for society. They are sources to dissipate education and its importance. Institutions teach the importance of educational psychology to society. Institutions are building blocks of a peaceful and progressive society. In educational status of India, Indian society is one of the oldest civilizations where education is promoted. India is the home to the oldest Gurukul to IITs and IIMs, and the country's literacy rate is at 75%. At the all India level, the literacy rate above 15 years old adults is 69.3%, and that among males 78.8% and the females are 59.3%. A rural-urban gap existed in the adult literacy rate for both females and also males. The importance of female education in society has always been a social concern in India. Today, to lead a comfortable life in this fast-changing world, education is the most influential agent of modernization. Let us know the challenges ensuring education in rural India. There is a gap between rural and urban education system for which rural children face many difficulties. For the large majority of the population living in rural areas, education is highly dependent on government-run or aided schools or non-governmental organizations. But rural areas still face various barriers that directly impact the country's literacy rate. Here, I have some of the challenges. First one is financial issues. Parents tend to see education as an expense rather than an investment. They would rather have the children work and earn. In higher education, lack of good institution close by means students have to look at shifting to cities, which adds to their expenses. This leads to low rates of enrollment and higher dropout rates. Then another issue is lack of guidance. Students in smaller regions have great potential and they are motivated to study but lack right mentoring. This is required not for the children but also for their parents. Then next one is lack of adequate number of schools. The rural parts of India are already struggling a lot when it comes to local transportation. This problem poses a huge threat to education as rural Indian due to limited or no schools. The problems is transportation coupled with schools located at a great distance in rural areas compel parents not to send their kids to the schools, thus keeping them devoid of education. Then another one is lack of infrastructure and faculty and lack of quality reading. Children have limited or no access to basic learning tools such as well-equipped classrooms, computers, labs, playgrounds, among other things. Often the teachers are not qualified or to not turn up, leading to a poor quality of education. This also leads to low morale among students to attend school. And another is lack of quality reading. Rural students have lacked consistent access to quality purely reading opportunities because of the socioeconomic circumstance of some families and the absence of financial flexibility in rural districts. Then another one is parental illiteracy and girls' education and drops out. When a woman is educated, the entire society is educated. But when a man is educated, only he is educated. Women in India were educated less due to the traditional belief that the girl child. Yes, ma'am.
Could you summarize your presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Next, move on to overthrow the challenges. First, we have to set up more schools and amalgamate technology with education and focus on conceptual learning, move outside classrooms. As on a whole, rural students require sound relationship between all of the stakeholders in their education, and teachers can create and foster this dynamic by taking a few purposeful steps for a collaborative and transparent classroom. As a government, corporate and community members have to work together to implement a solution for a sustainable education system in rural India. These are my references. Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
The next presenter is Mrs. B. Guru Mageshwari from Sri Kalishwari College. The topic,
Okay, ma'am.
e-learning challenges in rural India. Guru Mageshwari, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You can proceed, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible, ma'am. You may proceed.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone. And myself, I am Guru Mageshwari, Department of Computer Application, as Assistant Professor in Sri Kalishwari College. Today, I am sharing the topic of e-learning in rural India. The abstracts. The using the electronic devices. Without electronic devices, we couldn't
Guru Mageshwari, ma'am.
live.
Guru Mageshwari, ma'am.
Is it true? In e-learning also, the electronic devices is a most of the part. It play the vital role in the e-learning. Not only for the education purpose, it is also used in the various purposes. Formalized teaching, but with the help of the electronic resources. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my voice is audible?
Now it's audible, ma'am. Now it's audible.
Sundaravali, ma'am. Jasmine is there. Guru Maheshwari ma'am.
Guru Maheshwari ma'am.
Wait a minute, ma'am.
Guru Maheshwari ma'am.
It's visible.
Excuse me, ma'am. Guru Maheshwari ma'am. Your connectivity is not stable, I think.
Ma'am, my voice is audible.
Ma'am, your connectivity, internet connectivity
Hello,
is
ma'am.
not stable, ma'am. Excuse me. Please listen, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Your internet connectivity.
Now it's okay, ma'am. Now it's okay.
Ma'am, wait, ma'am. Wait for a minute. Please
Okay.
listen to me, ma'am.
Yes.
Your connectivity is not stable. So you please present your paper in some other place where there is good connectivity. And we are going to call another presenter. You find a place to present. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Will be given another chance, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Next, we would like to invite Ms. G. Sundaravalli from Sri Kalishwari College to present her topic on an impact of e-learning in rural India. Ms. G. Sundaravalli. Ms. G. Sundaravalli from Sri Kalishwari College.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your screen is visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Shall I start? First, good afternoon, honorable president here. My topic is an impact of e-learning in rural India. These are the synopsis and abstract. Education is very important in any individual life because it leads to immense contribution to the development of a nation. In India, from last few years, a lot of schools and colleges are adopting new way of teachings in their classrooms because of COVID-19. E-learning is learning for utilizing electronic technologies to access educational curricula outside a traditional classroom. An introduction: education is the primary right of every citizen of India, whether a child resides in a high society or a scheduler village. According to Article 45 of Indian Constitution, the basic elementary education given to all the children up to the age of 14 years. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided as opportunity to pave the way of digital learning. E-learning tools have played a crucial role during this pandemic to facilitate student learning. But due to the poor economic condition, many rural areas are not capable of affording the modern innovative educational technologies developed by computer systems. In digital education is the innovative modern technology to assess the progress of teaching and learning. It is also known as technology enhanced learning or digital learning or e-learning. The concept of digital learning is not new, has existed in various forms for many years, but the COVID-19, its face-to-face teaching is increasing manyfold. And these are the digital education tools for Google Classroom, Zoom, virtual learning environment like Telegram, Messenger, WhatsApp, etc. These tools are tried for teaching and learning for the first time ever continue education. Then pedagogy in e-learning. The online learning, distance and continuing education have become a panacea for a global pandemic. The use of suitable and relevant pedagogy for online education is expertise and exposure to ICT tool for both educators and learners. The online classroom time used to understanding through discussion for both faculty and students to encourage skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, and self-directed learning. And what are the challenges in teaching and learning?
The online learning in India, majority of the learners from rural villages. Their parents are mostly illiterate farmers. The students are engaged in assisting our parents for activities such as agriculture or any other work. The economically backward children are unable to connect online learning devices like smartphones or etc. The online platforms such as Microsoft Teams, Classrooms, WebEx is used for pedagogy in e-learning. They include options for workspace, short video meeting, and the variety of content like Word, PDF, Excel file, audios, and videos for sharing knowledge. The tracking of students learning by using quizzes and the rubric-based assessment of submitted assignments. The flipped classroom is a simple strategy for providing the learning resources for YouTube links before the class. The students with special needs having learning difficulties such as hearing impairment, visual impairment, and mobiling disabilities. And also the student assignments and examinations are carried out from home. It's a challenging to find the authenticity. The lack of parental guidance, especially for young learners, though increased and unstructured time spent on online learning has exposed children to violent content as well as the greater risk of cyberbullying. And what are the remedies for e-learning? The government step taken to online education or e-learning. The government provides fast internet, uninterrupted power supply and electronic devices for rural populations, and to provide a national optical fiber network and digital infrastructures and promote a Vidyadan for rural India. And this is a conclusion for e-learning. It's a development society depends on it access information, and the same is applicable to rural India. The study highlighted the different challenges and removed the barriers for the development of digital education in our country. The e-learning interventions in the rural areas will undoubtedly pave way towards sustainable growth. And finally, thank you for giving me this opportunity to Secretary Sir, Principal Sir and VP Sir and our head of the department. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am. The next participant is Mr. R. Krishnan. The next participant is Mr. R. Krishnan from Sri Kalishwari College. The topic is...
Okay, ma'am. My voice is audible?
Yes, sir. It is audible.
Just a minute. I share my content, ma'am. Yeah. Sure. Just a minute, ma'am. My slide is sharing to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. The PowerPoint presentation is visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir. You can proceed.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon to everybody here. First of all, I say thanks to our Honorable Secretary, sir, and our principal and our vice principal, and our department of HOD, ma'am, and give the choice for me to thanks to IQHC coordinator. So now I take the topic of the rural education in India. This is my topic. First of all, I introduction my topic. Education is important for everybody, whether they are learning new facts, skill or trades. Having the opportunity to learn always benefits the individual. Nearly 65.53% of population of India reside in the rural area. There is a wide gap between the urban and the rural education system. The literacy rate of the urban area and the rural area are also wide. Educating communities means developing schools and educating children and leaders. By doing so, rural communities will lead to healthier and more sustainable future. An education system in rural communities has the opportunity to build the capacity and knowledge in the rural population, helping them to make informed decisions about their farms and to innovate the agriculture affairs. So next one is the literacy rate of in India. The census is taken from the year of 2021. Completed educational level of the population for different age groups, percentage distribution of the rural person, age 15 years and above by highest completed levels of education. 31.5% were not literate and 20.9% were not literate. 17.2% were level of upper primary middle and 24.9% were level of secondary and higher secondary and 5.7% were graduate and above. It is same concept at the compared to the urban side, percentage of distribution of urban persons age 15 years and above by highest completed the level of education. 13.9% were not literate, 14.7 were literate up to primary, and 14.0 were the level of upper primary and middle, and 35.8% were level of secondary and higher secondary, and 27.7 of were graduate and above. So overall comparison of all over India, all the states of percentage is 81.5% of the literate people of in India. So comparing to the rural literacy rate is 65% and urban literacy rate is 92.2%. Both of them were large gap between the rural literacy and urban literacy. So problems for education in rural India, more than 50% of the children of age 3 to 16 years are not able to read and perform the arithmetic abilities in the age group of 5 to 16 years. However, the problems related to the education in rural India are lack of availability of resources, and the next one is lack of awareness of educational importance, and the next one is less availability of schools, and the next one is digital technology, and the next one is lack of pocket-friendly educational institution, and the next one is the financial condition, and the last one is rural-urban divide. So lack of availability resources, that is the meaning of the lack of the availability resource in the rural regions in India. There is also a lack of infrastructure in the schools situated in the rural areas, no availability of the benches, playgrounds, and the laboratories and the washroom, or if presented, they are not in the worst conditions. So the next one is the lack of awareness for educational importance. For the another reason for the lack of literacy rate in rural regions in India is the lack of awareness of the importance of education. People in rural regions are mostly engaged in the agriculture and allied sectors. Children from the beginning are engaged with these sectors or not give much importance to their studies. Religious beliefs and some societal norms also rise up the path of providing the educational in rural India. So less availability of the schools, this is one of the major problem to the rural education of in India. There is less availability of the schools in rural regions. Many students have to go from one village to another village by covering the miles of the distance. Another challenge is the non-availability of the transport. So the transport is lack of the transport. And the next one is the digital technology. Another challenge is in rural education is in India is the digital dividend in globalized world where everyone is technology brown and using their application in daily life. It is necessary that everyone should have the knowledge about their use. The lack of pocket-friendly educational institutions, residents of the rural India usually come with little income sources, which are usually consumed the basic survival, making the education out of their realm. The lack of the government schools in the local areas discourage the parents more to spend on their kids, resulting in no education being important. So the next one problem is the rural-urban divide. Even though we are one nation, we still continue to have the rural-urban divide. In every aspect, and education also falls in the spare. There are the number of studies which have demonstrated a wide gap coming in between the rural and urban education. The gap can be witnessed in various ways. So ways to boost and upgrade the rural education in India, we need to overcome the above state obstruction to boost education in India. In order to boost up this, we need to adopt the following measures: encourage the free education, increase the number of schools by adapting the modern teaching technologies, by providing the scholarship, proper infrastructures and availability of the resources, and promote computer literatures. So conclusion, the rural education is one of the important factors in regional development supported by the central government. And the next one is the local government have to be effectively linked with the national level as well as the local communities. And the last one is implementing the policies which facilitates the effective functioning of the new role with the decentralization, and the local government will have to assume greater responsibilities and would become the main centers for local government. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for your presentation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You have used
Okay, thank you.
innovative terms like pocket-friendly education and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
The next presenter is Mrs. B. Gurumageshwari.
My voice is audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon once again. Ma'am, it's okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. So today my topic is e-learning in rural India. The e-learning is nothing but the learning system based on formalized teaching, but with the help of the electronic resources. Nowadays, the people are using the e-learning system maximum in this pandemic situation. Most of the institutions are adapting the e-learning system. In this, the mobile phones, internet, tablets, iPads, the communications, etc. are part of our lives from the start till the end of the day. A new innovations and discoveries, and that is education with the concept of e-learning. In this introduction, the Article 45 is described the basic elementary education must be provided to all the children up to the age of the 14 years. E-learning is the combination of learning services and the technology to provide the high values. In this e-learning, the problem faced by the rural India is the first one, the most of these schools do not have the proper infrastructures. When compared to the developed areas and with the rural area is not developed as much as the developmental areas. It is the most lack of that particular areas. So it will affect the kind of the children is not capable of adopting the e-learning methodology. And next one, the no proper transport facilities. And then there is no access to the supplemental educations. These are the problems faced by the rural education in India. In this concept of e-learning, the concept of e-learning is the acquisition of the knowledge and skill using the electronic technologies. The e-learning is to be classified into the synchronous training, asynchronous training, discussion group, blended learning. In the synchronous training, at the same time, it means the education is to be in the two-way communication. At the time of the education, the students can raise the questions to the staff and the staff can instantly answer to the students' questions. The online studies through the chat and the video conferencing is based on the synchronous mode. Nowadays, most of the educations are following this synchronous mode. So in this e-learning, the students ask the questions immediately and the teacher is responsible to answer through the online instantly. In this asynchronous mode, not at the same time, which means the students are no need to adapt that course under any particular time criteria. With their own compatibility, they can adapt the courses. In this asynchronous, it allows you to learn on your own schedule with a certain time frame. Nowadays, most of the courses are offered in this criteria because the learning resources are available in the networks. The people are interested means they can choose their own convenient timing for learn their own interested topics. In this embedded learning, it is most powerful than the traditional approaches. In this traditional approaches, it describes the learning while doing. The lot of e-learning courses is also available. Depends upon the user's interest, they can choose the courses with their comfortable time zone. Discussion groups. In this discussion groups, it provides the instructor to the student and the students to the student interaction. It helps the learner from the different location can easily interact and learn from each other. In the current state of the e-learning in India is the government services are made available to the citizens electronically. Launched on July 1, 2015, Digital India Advisory Groups. The challenges of the e-learning in India is the infrastructure and hardware facilities. As the previous presenters are told about, the infrastructure and hardware facility is most of the difficult one to access by all of the e-learners, all of the interested learners, because in rural schools they are having as much of the infrastructure facilities to provide the e-learning facility to their children. The policies, strategies, schemes, monitoring and controls that ensures the cross-central, the multi-stakeholders involvement. It is also one of the major challenges for the rural India for e-learning. The e-learning material usage and the services offered is the lack in the most of the areas. And another challenge is community-based participations. So community-based, it can be classified into area-wise or age group-wise, it can be classified. Depends upon their area, they can access any kind of resources. And as well as the age group is also one of the factor for accessing the e-learning, because some of the age group peoples feel difficult to access these kinds of technologies. Content development is not relevant and participatory. Capabilities are not adequately transferred to the end user. I conclude my topic. The development of any society depends on its access to the information, and the same is applicable to in rural India. Any development is to be implemented by the government. It is focusing on any one kind of the area. It is equivalent to all the areas in our India. It will help all the peoples can access the e-learning resources, as well as they can improve their area. They can improve themselves as well as they can improve their area. So it will help the most educated education populations in our India. The launch of Digital India program is a welcome step in this direction. It will help the India India will promote the digitalized one. The conclusion, the dedicated leadership, willpower and control, and the integrated framework comprising of the government. The leadership is also one of the important thing, because based on the leadership only, they can provide all the resources with equality to the public. The e-learning interventions in the rural areas will undoubtedly bear towards sustainable growth. These are my kind references. Thank you all. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you, Guru Maheshwari, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is Mrs. M. Satya from Sri Kalishwari College. The topic is an overview on online learning in the rural areas.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Is it
yes, ma'am, it is audible, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are audible. You may proceed, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Just a minute. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yeah, visible.
I'm Satya, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Sri Kalishwari College. And my co-author is Dr. Or Geeta, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Sri Kalishwari College. And now I'm going to present my paper on the title of an overview on online learning in the rural areas. Online learning is just one type of distance learning. The education takes place online or over the internet, which is called online learning. In the pandemic situation, every educational institutions can't take the stable decision about completing their curriculum and also conducting their examinations to their students. In order to finish the curriculum and for conducting the examination to the students, they have to turn to conducting the online classes for only the welfare of their pupils. And the study contains some objectives. First one is to know the current situation of people and to understand the challenges in the online learning. Third one is to study the initiatives taken by the government, and fourth is to give suggestions based on the study. Statement of the problem. Even the National Education Policy 2020 emphasized that digital learning as a viable alternative to the traditional classroom model for teacher-student interaction. While there are many advantages to digital education, there are also some significant obstacles to making education a fully online phenomenon in rural areas. And the current situation of people, the poor and rural students are feeling that much interruption in catching their available internet connection to obtaining their expected education. And also in many tribes areas and also in the rural areas, the students are climbing trees and climbing hills to catching the internet connectivity. And in case of girl students, they are having and they are facing that much difficulties for getting their education thoroughly. And also we can see the comparison between the situation of rural students and urban students. In the every rural families, one mobile phone, one smartphone, or one device is available for all the 3 or 4 children. And on the other hand, in the urban side, each and every children are having individual mobile phone. So in these cases also the rural students are suffering that much in case of getting the online education. And also they are having a problem to get the costly data plan. As a teacher, we can also feel that we have to spend that much and the reasonable amount for offering the effective education for our students. And as a student, they will also feel the difficulty to get the data plan, and they have to beg some neighbor or some friends to complete their work assignment or class works and so on. And also they are having the uninterrupted network. So these are all the current situation of the rural people. And also they are having some challenges in getting the online education. First one is insufficient digital infrastructure. India ranks the 89th in the world in terms of the internet speed and stability. And there is only the limited social interaction because there is no face-to-face contact between the teacher and students, and also student and student. So there is no social interaction. And also in online and over the internet, so many bogus and non-accredited degrees are available. So the fraudulent people also deceiving the new budding learners. And then a motivation. In case of online education, every student should possess the self-motivation and self-discipline. Otherwise, unless it's not possible to get the successful online education. And then language of a course. Majority of the courses are available in the English language only. So the students from the rural areas are suffering that much in case of learning their subject in English. And somewhat vital initiatives has been taken by the government. eBasta and Swayam Prabha and spoken tutorial Swayam and free and open source software for education, and National Digital Library of India and virtual labs for conducting the experiments practically over the internet. Yes, ma'am.
Could you summarize your presentation, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I just give my suggestions. This is the only way the education technology company should offer the low-cost multilingual platforms and should ensure the uninterrupted internet connection to the rural students. So, and then conclusion, the rural India's digital education hurdles can be overcome by providing the affordable and accessible e-learning options. With the usage of technology, the educational process needs to be modified to make it more practical. In addition, courses should be developed in a variety of languages to broaden their appeal and provide additional changes for rural Indian youngsters. Designing solutions to improve online learners' social skills would necessitate the innovation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to undertake my presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Satya ma'am.
Thank you,
For
ma'am.
your presentation. And within the time limit, you have discussed a lot of numerous challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
The next presenter is Dr. M.
Today's third session. Gratitude is the sign of noble souls. Let me greet our senior faculty, Dr. M. Guruswamy, Head Department of Commerce, to propose a word of thanks.
A cool hot afternoon to one and all present here. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. It is such an honor for me to get an opportunity to thank you for all dignitary. It is my duty to further express my gratitude our charismatic secretary, Sri A.P. Selvarajan sir, who devoted himself for the development of education. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks to our most respected principal, Dr. S. Krishnamurthy sir, who is guiding us in a right path in all our endeavor. Thank you, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to thank our beloved Vice Principal, Dr. P.K. Balakrishnan sir, and Ms. R. Muthulakshmi for their never-ending support and motivation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. A special thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. R. Harris, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Christ University, Bangalore, for accepting our invitation and being with us today. Your thoughts are highly commendable. Thank you, sir. I would like to record my sincere thanks to the sponsoring agency of NAC for funding this national level online seminar. I must thank for organizer of the seminar of our college IQAC coordinator, Mr. L. Priya, and his team for taking all efforts to make this session grand success. Thank you, ma'am. My wholehearted thanks to Master of Ceremony of this session, Dr. N. Nagajodi, Assistant Professor of English, for the time management, integration of participants of this session. Thank you, ma'am. I devote my appreciation to rapporteur of the session, Ms. Jasmine Pasina, for her nice coordination. Thank you, ma'am. A wide round of applause and thanks to all the participants and paper presenters who made this session informative. Thank you all. The pandemic created without ICT, nothing in the world. My backbone thanks to our system administrator, Mr. G. Raghavan, Mr. P. Marimuthu, supporting pillar of our office staff and non-teaching staff. Once again, thanks to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words of gratitude. Now we can wrap up this third session.